You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Time to go home. No. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? What is the time, Mr. Wolf? What's the time, Mr. Wolf? What is the time, Mr. Wolf? It's bacchanal time. Bacchanal time. Bacchanal, 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 bacchanal time. The party can't stop. No, the party can't stop. Children, tambule, flambo, shak, shak, and drum. Hey, the party can't stop. No, the party can't stop. Tell them, start the mass, the moko jumpy go come. Wait, the party can't stop. Hey, the party can't stop. 1, 2, 3, start the ceremony. Everybody, start to wave, start to wave, start to wave, start to wave. Today's carnival, children. Today's carnival. Everybody, start to wave, start to wave, start to wave, start to wave. On the count of 4, on the count of 4, on the count of 4. Let me go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump up, 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 jump up. Bacchanal, 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 bacchanal. Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. Everybody, bacchanal, 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 bacchanal. Sunday, bacchanal. Monday, bacchanal. Tuesday, bacchanal. Wednesday, bacchanal. Thursday, bacchanal. Friday, bacchanal. Saturday, bacchanal. Every day, bacchanal. Express yourself, wine. Express yourself, rhyme. Express yourself, make love. Express yourself, make love. Are you ready to go home? No. Are you ready to go home? No. Are you ready to go home? No. Children, time to go home. No. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Bacchanal time. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Bacchanal time. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Bacchanal time. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? It's bacchanal time. Bacchanal time. Bacchanal, 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 bacchanal time. The party can't stop. No. The party can't stop. Buzzer, tell them on this plantation we run things tonight. Tell them the party can't stop. No, no way. No. Freedom to express myself without fright. That's all we want. Party can't stop. Yeah, the party can't stop. Form a ring, wave and welcome the king. Come Moko Jumbi. Start to wave, start to wave, start to wave, start to wave. Today's carnival buzzer. Today's carnival. Hey, spreading news. Start to wave, start to wave, start to wave, start to wave. On the count of 4, on the count of 4, on the count of 4. Everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump up, 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 jump up. Bacchanal, bacchanal, yes. Bacchanal, bacchanal. Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. Everybody. Bacchanal, bacchanal, oh, bacchanal, bacchanal. Sunday, bacchanal. Monday, bacchanal. Tuesday, bacchanal. Wednesday, bacchanal. Thursday, bacchanal. Friday, bacchanal. Saturday, bacchanal. Every day, bacchanal. Hey. Express yourself, wine. Express yourself, rhyme. Express yourself, make love. Express yourself, make love.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Right about now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to move on with Calypso Spectacular. And the next performer coming up on stage, this man last year had a song about hooting in the dirty and the hole in the dirty. 1995, the amount of bills they passed in Parliament, he said they only sitting. Look, if you have tight tongue, be careful what you say. The name of the song, Sitting in Parliament. The singer, Macroft. Bring him on.
Brother, as they win election, that's it. They gone in the house to sit. So brother man, I'm getting harassed. I better put them back and sit in jokers. Why we can't get no better men? Man, it's too much of sitting in parliament. Why you think the country hard like Banga? They're sitting in parliament. You change government with the same pressure. You're sitting in parliament. So some say it's just you bring back massa. You're sitting in parliament. Because you put African, same shit. You put Indian, same shit. You put Syrian, same shit. They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. You're sitting in parliament. Talking rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. You're sitting in parliament. Mr. President, we ain't catching you in none and by accident. No! There's too much of sitting in parliament. To get material for this calypso, I went to parliament to get my info. For I had to get good information about all who's sitting for the station. They tell me Humphrey's the man for the poor, Sobion and Hawkins seeing about law. Robbie and Pam them for Tobago, Rowley seeing about farmers cocoa, Ramesh for rapists and murderers, Pam them down in Central for great farmers. Big man like Patrick with PhD, what they doing? Sitting in parliament. And he happen they're sitting opposite. What they doing? Sitting in parliament. Between them they're making poor people pay. What they doing? Sitting in parliament. And one is African, same shit. And one is Indian, same shit. You must understand, same shit. They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. They're sitting in parliament. Talking rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. They're sitting in parliament. Mr. President, this country is backed up by accident. No! There's too much of sitting in parliament. Alright, what's a whole thing? It's a what a whole thing. Get it? Ramesh and Pang, they're digging blues. But they can't put their damn foot in Woolsey shoes. Woolsey is a real woman of substance. So she have all of them sitting in their pants. I have to ask Sunday where he boiled us gone. Why Woolsey had to take the bull by the horn. Remember when Woolsey tackled water? The next day the whole country had water. Before that, she might cook me for y'all. No water to watch the sunfish at all. Again. Sitting in parliament. Sitting in parliament. 𝗪𝗏𝗶𝗃, the whole country want to know. If it's love, you love opposition, so. You say how Patrick them taking all the meat, and only giving opposition the bone to eat. Man is 30 years young in opposition. You start eating bone from 𝗪𝗏𝗶𝗃, you have brain, you ain't got that yet. You know it's bone opposition does get. So if you want to sit on this country throne, I must advise you to stop something man in bone.
Yeah, that was my bro. Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago already gone through. So what we vote for these big cities men to do? At times Trinidad had money to burn. Wicked politicians burn it until it's done. And now we end up in a sad state. Look how we country deteriorate. People afraid to walk the street after dark. Thief is in your car before you put back. Calling watchman and them, you're making skylark. Police sitting right there when drop bar run back. Man shooting down man like his money cool.
They're sitting in Parliament,
And the toothless bulldog don't know what to do. What they doing?
they're sitting in Parliament,
Military with guns making we do. What they doing?
they're sitting in Parliament.
You put African
Same
sense,
shit,
put Indian sense.
same shit,
You put African.
same shit.
They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. What are you?
They're sitting in Parliament,
Talking ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What you say?
they're sitting in Parliament.
Mr. President, Mr. President, all the bandits they come here by accident. Now it's too much of shifting in Parliament. God.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad.
Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception, it is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's no other than individual with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. And you know, we say it here, individuals with the DAT triplets. We welcome each and every one. Doesn't matter what planet you're from. If you're from Mazatanius, Xenoranius, Venuranius, Saturnanius, Iteranius, whatever planet you're from, you're welcome in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. As well as, doesn't matter what t-shirt you wear a green t-shirt, a pink t-shirt, a mauve t-shirt, a orange t-shirt. Doesn't matter what t-shirt you wear, what color t-shirt you wear, you are absolutely welcome in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Let me bring in 1/3 of the DAT triplets, no other than Tommy Marshall, the commissioner in Newark, Nesbitt boy. Tommy, how are you? Thomas, how are you?
How are you? I'm quite good, thank you. Very, very good this evening. Very happy to be in the village. Very excited about today's show.
Yeah, you know, I am kind of excited too, Tommy, because, I mean, it's never a dull day in our homeland of Trinidad and Tobago. Every day is Sunday Bacchanal, Tuesday Bacchanal, Monday Bacchanal. It's Bacchanal, Bacchanal.
Oh, Lord. It's so sad, but at the same time, it's what we have to deal with, you know, and we can't run from it. The only way to get through it is to go through it, eh?
Correct is right. And Tommy, I want to deal with an issue tonight. I want to deal with, so we have a political scientist, Dr. Shane Mohammed, coming on tonight at 8 p.m. I want to deal with two PNM activists who disgrace the PNM party. Disgrace, very disgraceful to the PNM party by calling themselves political analysts. I mean, it is a disgrace when you, I mean, listen, you could call yourself what you want, right? You could call yourself anything. Call you whatever name you want. They could call you, just call me all kind of name, right? But when you start to take titles from individuals who have done significant things in the political spectrum, and you calling yourself a political analyst, something wrong. And the PNM party, these are PNM activists. Yeah, I support the PNM. These are PNM activists calling themselves political analysts, and the party is silent. I'm not telling them, listen, you're not making our party look good by calling yourself a political analyst. Or, you know, a political analyst is also called a political scientist. And we had most of the renowned political analysts in Trinidad and Tobago on WZYE 95.9 FM, right? Them two who calling themselves political analysts. I don't know where, man, look, it is unbelievable that they could just jump up just so and call themselves what they want. But where you go say to me, it's Trinidad and Tobago.
It's the state of the world. It's the state of the world today, you know, Anselm. Really, when you really think about it, think about things. I'm born a girl. I want to be called he.
Yeah.
Where the world really going? I mean, everything is consistent, so you gotta let it be, because
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and let me say hello to my good friend. Well, I call him a good friend. I call him a friend, right? Um, I think that fella is a good one. He's a good one. He's not a bad fella. You know what I mean? Diana, welcome. Let me say welcome to my friend Dominic Rumin. We having a little chat here, a sidebar chat on 𝗏𝗏 and Watson Duke, because you know I am very proactive and very critical, and I have called them transformational leaders. So you know he puts up a post, right? Because I put up a post today with Duke, and he says transformational. I said yes. From 2 to 6 to 14 is still transformational. You know they can't argue that. They want to argue all other kind of things, right? They don't want to argue that. When I stated the man was a transformational leader, of course, 2 to 6 to 14 is transforming the landscape, the political landscape in Trinidad and Tobago. You could say what you want. That's facts. So he tell me, Ansem the born here, 14 seats cause them to transform from friends to enemies, right? I don't know if they're enemies. Who say they're gonna? Who doesn't say they're gonna patch and make up? Who knows? Who knows?
But teeth and tongue in the same mouth, and there is fallout.
Yeah, fallout. Look how much people Dr. Rowley fallout with. Look how much people. And he patched it up with some of them. You see, that's the problem, you know. That's the problem. I tell them too much of them is in HDD, hypocritical, deceitful, and disingenuous. No, but let me just tell him. Yeah, let me just tell him. Right? Things can change overnight, my friend. You know what I mean? Oh,
regardless of who family you are, you would have days when you would disagree, and you would have bitter disagreements. All disagreements wouldn't be smooth, but at the end of the day, you have to agree to disagree. And
Tommy, you are so right. Look at the disagreement with Dr. Rowley and Patrick Manning.
Exactly.
Look at that. Look now. People does only, people have selective memory. They want to have selective memory in Trinidad, but that's okay. All you're entitled to have selective memory and select what you all want to remember. But tonight, I go deal with them so-called political analysts. I want to deal with them because you're putting your party into disrepute, right? All you and Tommy, I go probably picture. I don't like to call people names. I'm not into the name calling thing. But I believe as PNM activists, they have put their party into disrepute by coining the phrase political analyst. I mean, if I was Dr. Mohammed or Dr. Winford James or Dr. Bishnu Raghunath and others, and I hear these two political neophytes putting up on the screen that they are political analysts, I will be upset, man. I'll be very upset. I ain't lying to you.
And you'll be right in being upset, because after you have worked so hard to hone your craft, so to speak, you have to have these, as you call them, neophytes, just jumping in and giving themselves that name is going to be offensive. It's going to be disrespectful.
You know what that reminds me of, Tommy? When the UNC was in power, how much of them just get silk gesso?
But you see, but I tell you, it's a new world order.
You just get yourself silk. All right, watch. You wake up one morning, all right, silk for you. You silk for you too. Silk shine like rain. And you see, I tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you all are responsible for the government. You all put them in power. It's a representative democracy. You all put them in power. You all have to hold them accountable. Hold them accountable.
Has that ever really been done? Do we have any record or any track record of holding anyone accountable? Think about it.
Tommy, you asking good questions there, you know. I don't know, Tommy. I really don't know.
I mean, if we've had a pattern or had a culture of doing such, then I would say, well, yeah. But when we really think about it, nobody holds anybody else accountable for anything. As a matter of fact, we reward politicians for bad behavior.
Mediocrity. We reward mediocrity. Mediocrity is rewarded in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know, we had a saying on Wall Street that when you screw up, you move up. Right? It's like if you go in a ministry and somehow things ain't working out, we put you in our next ministry. It's like all of a sudden.
The father of the nation responsible for, I mean, speaking truth to power, the father of the nation responsible for that too, eh? Because we know what he would do is when you do something that he didn't like, he'll banish it to 𝗏𝗏 as some kind of quote-unquote ambassador or something of sorts, instead of making you pay the piper for the wrong you've done.
Yeah. And Tommy, you know, that's a good point, you know. That's a good point. But not only that, in certain political parties, if you are considered a threat to the leader, they banish you outside of the country, you know.
Yep.
They send you outside, you know. You go to Afghanistan and be the ambassador. Right? Go to Mesopotamia.
Anywhere bombs dropping.
Yeah. Go to Mesopotamia and be the ambassador. That's how it is, you know. Boy, look.
Anselm, I wonder if
let me say welcome to you, you know. Let me say welcome to you. Know?
Welcome to you, Storm.
We're just jumping in just so.
I'm back officially a supporting. I'm in a supporting role.
Let me say a special welcome to Diana, Waveney, McDonald, Greta, Stormy, the Storm, the Train Babes, Gonian, Ben Skinboy. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Anselm. I'm in a supporting role.
Welcome, Diana.
We had to welcome you, man. What happened?
Yeah, thank you.
How
I
you
just
doing
want there. I would say 65%. I want to say perhaps Watson Duke is trying to send a message. But it shouldn't be done. I don't think it should be done on social media. That, you know, whatever he perceives to be what I'm saying, not me, what he perceives to be intolerance or disrespect or you know, the old behavior, you know, that has been exhibited in the political parties in Trinidad and Tobago. Whatever, you know, he will not be tolerating that. But I don't like the way in which he went about, if an infraction was committed, the way in which it was handled. I personally don't like it. I don't like this in this squabbling in the party. It is not perceived well by the voting populace. And the opposition, the other parties, you know, they're looking on in glee. And I don't, Mr. Duke, if you're listening, I call you and I tell you to come down from there. I don't like that. I didn't like the way in which it was handled. Good night, Judy. Thank you. Good night, Ken. Thank you. Right? I don't like the way in which it was done. I don't like it.
And still, instead of making it better, they're digging the hole deeper.
The whole digging, bud. The whole digging. Let me just say welcome to people here in the chat. Let me see. Tonight, of course, 𝗪𝗏 was in first. 𝗪𝗏, welcome. 𝗪𝗏 says good night. 𝗪𝗏 says Diana the Storm, good night. 𝗪𝗏 was second as well. Diana, she gave plenty emojis. Anselm, good night as well. I got plenty emojis. 𝗪𝗏 was third. 𝗪𝗏 was fourth. She said Tommy, good night. Yeah,
Good
Tommy,
night,
you're
peace. Good
inside.
night.
You're inside. 𝗪𝗶𝗃 was 5th. She gave Nadia, Lana, Rose, Carice, Mauricia, Miss Coover, Joan, Capiza. I see Miss Coover in a little bit. Where's she going? 𝗪𝗃 said again, Vonnie, Ellis, Rajvi, Ulrich, Hailey, Troy, Albert, Chris, Tropics, Daryl. I ain't see Ellis see that, boy. Like your wife cannot take away your phone a little bit, boy. I see Vonnie wife gave him back your phone. You know, so he was in the other night. 𝗪𝗃 says only love in the village, no room for hate or negativity. Full 100. Hey, look, Nadia inside. Nadia, you're inside.
That's
Nadia, I noticed you ain't walking lately, you know. What's the story? I noticed you ain't walking lately, Nadia. We ain't encouraging that in the village, you know. Good night to you, Nadia. Tommy, good night. Tommy, boy, you get some green emojis there, boy.
good night, Nadia. You and 𝗪𝗃 are still the village sweethearts.
Diana Benskin, good night. Hey, Rennie, good night, dear. Yeah, Rennie, Nadia, send good night to you. Good night to Keisha, Joan, Judy, Rose, Miss Coover, Lana. Yeah. Good night, Vonnie, Ellis, Labor, Troy, Ulrich. I wonder if Troy wife will give me phone tonight, boy. Hey, look my good love until friend Joan Jadu there, boy. Joan,
Good
what
night,
going
Joan.
on, boy? Joan, the other night Nadia was getting out your business when you had also go and run. You had also go and do something. She said something. She asked you how the boyfriend was. You know, I only repeating what she said, Joan. So don't get them upset with me.
Joan, don't feel no way. Bacchanal is part of we MO.
You know the song we play. You play 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗏. Bacchanal. Hey, but listen. All right, hold on. You hear the song or what?
Yeah.
All right. Look, I ready for Bacchanal, you know.
Official Bacchanalist. Aston Wall Street.
Yeah. Beautiful Trinidad and Tobago, boy. Oh, God. Beautiful Trinidad and Tobago. All right, let me continue here quickly in the chat. So, Joan says to 𝗪𝗃 and Nadia, how are you guys doing? You know, Joan, I'm good after go, thanks. 𝗪𝗃 says, Judy, good night. 𝗪𝗃 says, at least Mr. Duke letting everyone know what exactly is taking place in the PZP. Was he wrong with his decision? We go talk about that, 𝗪𝗃. We go talk about that. You see, some of these racial people have mind. I will always say Trinidad and Tobago are a mixed race country. These things has really upset me and crawl my blood. I'm not a racist. Yeah. I don't promote racism on everyone. I feel it's racist. Either things that shine you up or just lucky to blast it off. Yeah, I ain't into that either. Who vex lost? Because I have plenty of you guys out there just deceitful and just pretending behind closed doors, or let us be promoting it. Yeah. 𝗪𝗃 says, stop divide the country. We all have our views and things. Stop the blame game and find a solution how we can fix the country. I agree. I fully agree.
100%.
Yeah. Rennie, good night. Love in the house. Good night to all the villagers. Hope all is well. Yeah, all is well, man. Hey, look, we partner Ulrich inside early tonight, boy. Oh God, wait now. Lena, I feel what happens is that we get Ulrich some plug last Thursday for Ulrich Motors Incorporated. All of a sudden, the man come in 6:56, yes? Before the show start.
Enough respect, Ulrich. Enough respect.
Yeah, we plugged the man for your business. Diana, you wasn't here, but early in the show on Thursday, we plugged Ulrich business, Ulrich Motors.
He sell plenty cars, so he can pay for them. He pay internet bill early.
Right, he said you have a truck, but it's for parts only. You know what I mean? So, hey, but look, we partner come back, boy. Mark Daniel inside, boy.
What?
Yeah, Mark Daniel inside, boy.
Back, Mark.
Right, you know, Mark Daniel is one of the early fellas who start every night. He used to join us, you know, live and direct out at Tobago, you know, live and direct.
Mark,
yeah.
Maybe he could let us know something about the saga of Duke.
Well, you know, I call I had a partner of mine called 𝗪𝗏 Charles, and I mean, maybe we could just try to see if we could get him on the phone. I know we could try. See if we could pick up the phone. You know? Judy. Hey, Judy, welcome. This evening program sounds very interesting indeed. Evening Wall Street, Tommy and Diana. Greetings to all the beautiful ladies. Nadia, Takesha, Rose, Lana, Joan. Yeah. We have some real beautiful ladies inside the house here. No doubt about it. A set of jokers as politicians, some deceitful activists who like to say they want to fix TNT and racists. Oh, God. Yeah, boy. Takesha, it ain't easy, right? Yeah, Ken John, you're inside, partner. What tax? Good night, everyone. Blessing, shalom, and 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗵𝗺 Adonai be safe. All right. I hope I pronounce that correctly there, man. You know? Hey, but look, we partner from Mississippi coming early tonight too, you know?
Mississippi?
Yeah, Mississippi coming early tonight.
With masala?
Oh, it's Mississauga.
Oh, goodness.
Thanks for correcting me. Thanks for correcting me. Albert Montano, boy. Good evening, Ansem and Diana and Tommy. Albert, you're inside, boy. You're inside big time. You're inside. You're inside like film.
Welcome, Albert. Welcome.
Yeah, Albert say good evening to Keisha. Yeah. I noticed Rennie does only say good night to the ladies, you know. Good night, Judy Gill. What's up? All right.
Hey, Rennie's a ladies' gentleman.
I don't know, boy. Yeah, hey, but look, Judy saying hey, hello back to Judy. Say hello, Rennie, Ken, John, and Carice, boy. Hey, Carice, welcome. But I ain't seen boy Ulrich at all, boy.
Probably running a little late tonight.
Ulrich? I mean not Ulrich, Ellis.
Oh, Ellis.
Yeah, you feel you running late?
Ulrich have the motor, so he on time.
Yeah. Ulrich, since Ulrich get a new business, he
have wheels, you know, so he could always get to the show on time.
Yeah. I think it's truth, you know. I don't want to be in them groups and them where this race thing involved. But I no time for that, really and truly. Yeah. Ken John say Rennie because they have no respect for humans. Yeah, I no time for that.
But
yeah, Rennie, no joke, you know. In the village, here in the village, everybody's welcome. Everybody. Don't care what party you're from. You have an opinion, we listen to your opinion, we'll agree to disagree, but it's done very respectful. We don't encourage no cussing in the chat. We don't encourage no disrespect. I think we could all exist. We could all exist, support different parties, have different opinions, and we could all exist for the betterment of the country. That is what it's about, man. It's about betterment for the country. You understand? And if you want to support party A, you want to support party B, you want to support party C, I personally am fine with that. I have friends, UNC, NTA, PDP, all kind of friends, right? And if I'm going to support somebody, I don't ask them if we use a UNC or use a PDP or use a COP or use a ILP. Nah, I don't have time for that, right? And we have to get away from that kind of politics in Trinidad and Tobago. We really and truly have to get away from it, you know. And we have to hold the politicians accountable. We have to hold our politicians accountable and don't let them divide us. And whenever they start to talk with that, all you're supposed to pull them up and put them on blast. Put them on blast. Put them on blast. Right?
You talk about putting them on blast. I think Marcia published the initial letter showing what transpired with those Tobagonians who came to New York, and it clearly puts the THA in a position where they weren't responsible for it, you know.
But Tommy, I have to be honest with you. Because you see right now, people in the PDP are picking sides. What Snook has done is tell people, listen, you have to pick a side. You're either with Farley or you're with Watson.
But it looked like the problem is beyond the 27, because what Watson has stated, based on what I read, is that he had a problem before those 27 persons with Farley. And it's so sad.
But Tommy, my thing is this though. You putting the blame on the THA, right? when they left Trinidad and Tobago, what was the arrangement?
Mm-hmm.
Who was supposed to make the arrangement for them when they got here? Who was supposed to meet them at the airport? Who was supposed to take them to the place? The THA is in Tobago.
And the THA is a non-THA trip that they were on.
It's not an event that was sponsored by the THA. And I say, boy, them get 60,000 US, boy, 60-something thousand US.
At the end of the day, they got more than that, because when they, based on what I read today, monies were expended in 2 tranches.
But to me, that this thing could have worked out behind closed doors. But my belief is that somebody decided, you know what? I am going to blow up this whole thing. I'm going to blow it up.
Yeah. And who looks the worst is Watson Solomon Duke, because at the end of the day, we realized that his problem was not just the 27. His problem was with 𝗏𝗏. He had a problem with 𝗏𝗏 based on what I read before the 27 issue came up. It's so sad.
It's sad.
If you have a problem with 𝗏𝗏, you need to meet with 𝗏𝗏 privately and talk with him and come to a conclusion, come to some kind of resolution.
And what it seems to be a problem of someone not being able to get their hands on coffers, and too many hands in the cookie jar, and you know that is what it seems to me. I might be wrong.
Dana, you're going in. You're going in, Dana. You're going in, Dana Benskin. Watch yourself, you know, Dana Benskin.
Huh?
You're going in, Dana Benskin. Watch yourself, you know.
Well, you know me, I debate and I just call a spade a spade. I you know me, I just say what I got to say. And it seems to me somebody want their hand freely at the cookie jar, and somebody wants to stay constitutionally correct within the whatever bylaws they have set up within the PDP party and the THA, and somebody ain't like it. And it seems that that's what's going on. But Mr. Duke, I don't agree with you how you did it. I don't care. I don't agree with the way you did it. And I tell you to come down from there.
Right, so we know who Thomas that buddy.
No, I don't agree with it.
We know who that somebody is.
Who's that?
I'm trying to figure out if we know who that somebody is that is playing anything with the big ears and the bushy tail.
That Diana talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I ain't going into Diana's mind and try to figure that out, no?
You know, I ain't frightened to say what I got to say.
But I have an idea. But you know, look at it this way, right? And you know, people does mix up things, you know. Does really mix up things. Okay. So when the PDP won the election in Tobago, I looked at Watson Duke and I looked at 𝗏𝗏, and I said, you know what, boy? What Watson Duke did was transformational. He went from 6 to 14. I mean, if you look up the definition of transformational, right? He has to be considered a transformational leader in order to take your party from zero to 2 to 6 to 14 transformational.
Yep.
When you look at 𝗏𝗏 Augustine and the stuff that you have done in Tobago in less than a year in Tobago, right? It is way past transformational. And in here, we looked at the definition between a transactional leader and a transformational leader. We looked at it, right? We know for a fact, right? Rowley not in the transformational leaders. He not in there. He not. He's a transactional leader. All right? And we play the video. So now there are things happening, right? Does that take away the 0, 2, 6, 14? I'm asking, I don't know. Does it take it out? Does it take away what was done?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Why?
But what we are hearing and what I've read is that some of the ideas that the political leader of the PDP has, and some of the ideas that the chief secretary has, are in conflict. for example, funding for setting up the PDP in Trinidad. I think based on what I read today, the political leader and the leader of the House of Assembly, Chief Secretary rather, they disagreed long before all of this, and that has been a point of contention. Is this the way to resolve it, by escalating it because of the 27 and the 27 and the 27 and mismanaging the 27 and the 27?
What does call it? The 27 was the storm in the teacup. Is that what it is?
It looks that way.
That's what it is, eh?
That's what it seems to be.
You know, you're trying to find something. You're trying to find something, right?
Yes.
You're looking and you're waiting, right?
I think you hit the nail on the head.
And you say, I find it. There's it now.
Eureka.
I'm going in and mash up everything. As the mash upper, I'm going and mash it up. If I can't get my way, I go mash it up. I go mash up the whole thing.
Because what it amount to is he already cooperating with me as fully as I'd like him to.
Right. I go
something.
Correct. So you know what? I the political leader. Right? But there is a big difference, and I'm gonna play a video by Hochul Charles, because he's the resident expert on the Tobago House of Assembly. Right? He's the resident expert with regard to the constitution of the Tobago House of Assembly. Right? And there are some things that he had stated which makes that many of us may not know, may not have known. For example, one of the things he said is that in order to remove Duke as General Secretary of the THA, they have to have a vote of no confidence in him in order to remove him. Right? So he just can't be removed. Fali just can't decide that, you know what, Duke are kicking you out. That is what he said, and we go listen to that. But let me finish with the chat here real quick. Judy says, I can hear in the Tommy voice. Go ahead, Dana.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Ulrich said, Ulrich, answer my love your shirt. Yeah, boys, you know that the Desperado shirt. I can't show that. I go show them the back, but I can't show them the back because, you know, they go see my short pants. Yeah, and you see some of these MP who's racial time for you guys to step down because Trinidad and Tobago is a mixed race. Yeah. Or let's say the truck was sold, and will you believe I got more than the asking price? As a matter of fact, he's asking for another one. You see, Ulrich, we are commissioner.
That's right.
Yeah, he said the truck sold.
He owns the village.
Yeah. Judy said, "Wall Street, why answer to fools?" Nah, Dominic is my partner, man. I have to say that I respect Dominic because he respects me. Right? We may have different opinions and a different way we see things, but he's never been disrespectful to me. Let me say that. Right? Now the other female political analyst, right, was on our live cussing me left, right, and center with her kids in the room. You understand?
Oh boy.
It just tells you. She cussing me and her kids in the room. I could never be cussing people and my kids in no room. Right?
When their kids there, you don't cussing nobody. No, we in the village. I cussing nobody. Whatever kids there.
Don't me I tell you that sound make no sense. Oh God, Judy, no. Judy said these two people are clowns who are political. Oh God, Judy. Oh God, Judy. Oh, what 𝗑𝗶𝗃? I don't know about like 𝗑𝗶𝗃 say answer who cares? Who cares about what? I don't understand.
About them too.
But you see that's part of the problem, is that when we allow things to fester, or let's see what happened with Duke. Or let's see what happened, right? There was thing that was festering all the time. Festering, and they weren't taking care of it. They weren't dealing with it. And finally, right, the teacup a storm came and the whole teacup overflow.
Right.
The teacup overflow.
Because it's clearly who's the boss? I the boss. No, you's the boss. I the boss. No, I the boss. I the boss. What I say go. No, what I say go. I have the last word. I have the last word. There's a to and fro.
But I've often heard, you know, right in Tobago, and they said, I really don't like Duke, you know, but I'll give the party my vote because they want change. I've heard that said, you know, and Mr. Duke has to be leery of that. You know, I don't, you know, he's a trade unionist. He's brash. He's harsh. He's a good strategist, but you know, he's astute in giving Farley that position. But you can't go and have this infighting. You have to be able to step aside and have calm dialogue now. Have a third intermediary party and be able to open. Now, in being an astute strategist, you have to be able to listen and ascertain and you know, and divulge and barter. You can't be always in this aggressive fighting mode all the time. Right, Mr. Duke, you can't, in the position that you're in, if you really want to transform, you got to be in a listening mode, in an approachable mode. You have to have an ambiance of okay, I'm ready to engage and not ready to battle. Engaging and battle is two different stances.
A sober disposition. You cannot be drunk with power.
Yeah.
Let me say that again.
You cannot be drunken by power. You have to have a sober demeanor, a sober disposition.
Engaging, you know. Now this is my way or the highway. That don't work.
Yeah. I think that, and the other thing too is that, you know, the underlying threats. You know what I mean? The underlying threats doesn't do anything to solve the problem. It doesn't add, it doesn't enhance anything. It doesn't, you know.
Not working, Mr. Duke.
Yeah, when you know, you have to understand that I am the political leader of the PDP and I build the PDP and so on and so forth. I mean, listen, people know that. People know
there's no iron we, and without the assistance of those who assisted him, he would be nothing, nobody.
Yes.
There's no iron team, man. There's no iron team. Together, everyone achieves more. When you talk about teams, together, everyone achieves more.
You're demoralizing the team. You're demoralizing the rest of them. And you don't want to, you're turning out to be just like Rowley now. You're putting fear in the people. You know? You don't want to be like, you want to be like Rowley, Mr. Duke? Come on.
Then the people, basically the way he's behaving, when push comes to shove, the people will say, oh, we regret not putting back the bloody PNM.
Correct is right. There we go. Exactly.
Top of the hour answer.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that, you know, you are the political leader of the PDP. There is a difference between the political leader of the PDP and the chief secretary of the THA.
Yeah,
that's correct.
There's a big difference, right? You are the political leader. You're not the chief. You're not running Trinidad. You're not running Tobago.
No.
If he wanted to be the chief, he should have said so and let it fall where they may.
He should have let it know that I am going to be the chief. I don't care if we win, lose, or draw. I am going to be chief. And you see the kind of game Watson Duke is playing. Watson Duke is playing what's called a zero-sum game. A zero-sum game. You know, when you go to the casino, somebody had to win and somebody had to lose. That's the game Watson Duke is playing, and we shouldn't be playing that kind of games with politics.
Yeah, that is immaturity. That display of immaturity is not good.
Tells me now that you might have to put the PDP, the PNM, and the UNC, all them leaders, in the same boat.
Exactly.
Because it don't seem like if none of them are really different for the country. You understand? So let's go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the dark triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Stick and stay, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this short message. It's In the Village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to
All round the come. And anytime all round them sound, you have a nice man in sound, right? Good. The name of the song, Look How 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come. And all you're going to tell me, judge me. Judges all already? Sanford and all already? The young boy come with a message. Tell me.
Time to wake up your door.
Yeah. If a man did tell me so many years ago, I would have watched him in the face, man, and tell him no. If a man did tell me so about my 𝗪𝗵𝗃, I would have watched him in the face, man, and tell him no. We must have changes, and you must agree. But them kind of changes is not for we. But when I look around and I see them crimes, all I could tell myself today is signs of the time. When I hear 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗃 fighting war with 𝗪𝗵𝗵𝗃,
Look how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come.
and when I hear 𝗪𝗪𝗃 fighting war with 𝗪𝗪𝗃,
Look how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come.
and then some little fellas who ain't done no stick mother, walking about with guns and killing one another. That is corruption. All you see how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come. That's all. Yeah.
Time to wake up your door.
I was born and bred right behind the bridge, but I never called myself underprivileged. As a boy growing up, the money was small, but in my mind I never think about no crime at all. You could have scolded a neighbor child and then send him home. Now come parents telling you, leave the child alone. Morality and standards follow the train. That is why today's appearance in plenty pain. You know your child is walking, but it's showing severe.
Look how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come.
And then he pants below the bottom, if you walk past it fall down.
Look how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come.
Then he living by the mother or he living bachelor. I'm talking to you woman, tell me what is your truth here? That is corruption. All you see how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come.
Trinidad and Tobago, time to wake up your door.
If my father was a bad child when I was small, well, I don't want to be Peter Pickle. Look how some of the men they cheating women, but some of the women is the problem. Education today, the standards so high, but no common sense, I just wonder why. Yes, we had bad Johns, them fellas was strong, but we never had so much robberies and guns. It's vagrants and pipers all over the country.
Look how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come.
And you will never believe now it's vagrants robbing weed.
Look how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come.
You know a man went home hungry, start biting the baby and writing the church when a man kill a lady. That is corruption. Oh, you will see how 𝗪𝗵𝗃 come. Higher, higher.
So yes, folks, yes. Look out,
Blow boy.
Huh?
Blow boy, blow boy.
Blue boy, you want bacchanal? Huh? Yeah, we go get it after we get Dr. 𝗪𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗃 inside here. He's patiently waiting for us. Let's bring in our first guest, Dr. 𝗪𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃. Dr. Mohammed, welcome back.
Thank you. Greetings.
Good evening, Dr. Shane Mohammed.
Yeah,
How are you all? How are you all?
Yeah, listen, we are doing fantabulous and splendiferous. Let me put it that way. We are doing the best we can with the things that we know. So how are you doing?
Well, we are in, as you know, Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing is ever silent. There's always some excitement going on.
Mm.
It's not always positive excitement, nonetheless.
You know, Dr. Mohammed, I want to ask you a question, right? Did you go to school to become a political scientist or a political analyst? Did you just jump up one day and say, you know what? Look, I want to be a political analyst. I go just call myself a political analyst.
Actually, no, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
And then I realized that lawyers lie and political scientists tell the truth.
Right. But you had to go and learn your craft to become a political analyst, right?
I had to be to become a political analyst. Anybody could become a political analyst as long as they have an understanding of political science. So we have people in Trinidad and Tobago who are not necessarily qualified in political science, but they are political analysts because they understand the political the way politics operate, and they have knowledge of the political framework and that kind of thing of the country. And they are exposed to what is happening with geopolitics in terms of what is happening in the region and internationally. But with regard to Dr. Raghunath and myself and others who are actually qualified in the field of political science, we are qualified at graduate and postgraduate levels in political science. So that makes us political scientists. The craft, when you ask about the craft is really dependent on the personality. So for example, Dr. Raghunath is my academic mentor, but our styles are very different in terms of how we bring things across. But most times we tend to agree independently of each other, in terms of opinions.
So, Mr. Dr. Mohammed, are you saying that you can call yourself an analyst and be an analyst even if you don't have any political science training?
There are people who do call themselves political, and that's the difference between political scientists and political analysts. Political analysts, they are able to analyze the politics and see the politics from an analytical perspective, which anybody who has knowledge from a political perspective can do. But when it comes down to understanding the science of it, and in terms of the strategy and the background and the philosophy and the ideology and the how things are working and what is happening in the background and that sort of thing, that is when the scientists must come forward, and there's just a handful of us in Trinidad at this point in time.
So can you be
how credible?
Go ahead, Tommy.
How credible is a self-made analyst who doesn't have any formal training?
Well, they will have formal training, right? They will have formal training. They may have it in economics, and they may have it. We have political analysts who would not have necessarily done political science, but would have done international relations. And if they did international relations, then it gives them a one-up on those who would not have done some sort of academic background in political science. Sometimes you have somebody who is an economist with a minor in political science. That gives them the ability to be an analyst. You have somebody who is a doctor with a PhD in international relations. That gives them the ability to be a political analyst. But to be a political scientist, you must be trained in political science at an undergrad and postgrad level.
But Dr. Mohammed, if you don't have any of those qualifications, you know nothing about international politics. Your politics is only pro a party, right, or anti another party, right? You're calling
Then it's not that. Then it's not that. You might as well just be. That's like your Bush lawyer. So your Bush.
Oh, all right, yeah. We just wanted to clarify that now. It's like if I decide I am pro a party, right? I am pro any party, and I decide that you know what? I go call myself a political analyst. But I am let me give you an example. I am a UNC activist or I'm a PNM activist. And I call myself a political analyst. But I only analyzing the other party. What kind of political analyst are you?
You're a biased political analyst. You're one that is you want to be in the fray of things, but you're really just there because you're a noisemaker.
or in other words, I want to be.
Oh,
yeah. But I will call you a noisemaker. I have no qualms about. You know me. I by now I know my mouth. I have no qualms about telling people that.
But no, you're correct, you know. You're absolutely correct, you know. That is noisemakers, you know.
But you see, I have an issue, and this is my issue, right? Lawyers, and I'll make an example out of 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝘁𝗶𝗃, not because I wear yellow, but I'm wearing a little red and orange tonight. But 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗁𝗪 is legally centric. She loves the fact that she's an attorney at law. That was her dream come true. And she entered into politics, and she rode the wave, and luck somehow struck her, and she became prime minister, right? But 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗁𝗪 has a bias, and I have no apologies. I make no apologies about this. She has a bias towards lawyers, and therefore she does not really tolerate an opinion about the law from someone who is not a lawyer. And I've seen it with my own, heard it and seen it with my own eyes and my own ears, right? There's a lot of people, though, that I have a problem with who love to call themselves political analysts when they are not. Do not jump into our profession and call yourself a political analyst. So, for example, let me give you an example. Before I became Dr. Mohammed, I did not call myself a political scientist. When I had my first degree and my master's, I called myself a political analyst because I didn't believe that I was at the level at the level at which I should be regarded as a political scientist. Even though Dr. Raghunath will disagree and say, well, once you have your master's, you can qualify as a scientist. I waited until I was a Dr. Mohammed, a degree that I worked very hard to earn, and money that I worked very hard to expend. And when I became Dr. Mohammed, that is when I fully put myself out there as a political scientist.
That's interesting.
And my thesis, my thesis is really my thesis specialization is in political leadership.
Wow.
Which and there's no, and I could say this because I've checked, there's nobody in Trinidad and Tobago who has a specialization in political leadership like I do.
You know, we here on the other side of the fence, you know, in the diaspora, we see people calling themselves, it's like in Trinidad and Tobago, you decide, you wake up tomorrow, you say, you know what? I feel I want to call myself a political scientist. You know? All right. I'm going on a Facebook, I'm going on TV, doing a Facebook Live, and I call myself, I have the thing up in front of me, I'm a political scientist. You know? And people have to ask the question, well, listen, what makes you a political scientist? Because you are supposed to be giving opinions, but your opinion is supposed to be on Party A, Party B, Party C. Your opinion is not supposed to be always pro a party.
Correct.
Right? It's not supposed to be always pro. And when you have, but Dr. Mohammed, I say this, if I am a PNM activist, for example, and I call myself a political analyst, right? And the PNM knows that I'm not a political analyst, and I'm going out there and putting myself forward as a political analyst. Doesn't that make the party look bad? I'm asking.
But of course it makes the party look bad. But then you would also have people who are not qualified in the field that are misleading the population.
Okay.
You're going to be misleading the population. At the end of the day, we have a responsibility like everyone else. We don't only have an opinion, right? And just let me just give you an example of something. This was just, I will not share the names, but this I will share you. I want to share something with you. A colleague of mine who's an attorney sent me a picture, and because a couple days ago we had a tit for tat with regard to race relations in Trinidad and Tobago. And imagine that we are talking race relations in Trinidad and Tobago in 2021, which is a shame, right? So he sent me a picture and he said, this is the 12 and under screening committee, because they're bringing back 12 and under for TTT. And he said, there's not one Indian judge. And then he says to me, then he says, shame. I said, and I responded and I said, because they don't see the need, nor do they care to. It's plain and simple. I said the MO of the UNC was to try to quote unquote balance it off, because what people will think, but what will people think, right? And so he said, and do you not see this as systemic discrimination? There's acting COP, a commissioner of police, and 3 deputy COPs, none of which are Indians. No Indian police officer care or want to work. And I responded and I said, well, to the first question as to whether it's not systemic discrimination, I said that's a given from time immemorial. This is a 1956 issue that nobody on the opposition side, regardless of color, wanted to speak up about, because again, what people would think. And then I said to him, with regard to the acting commissioner of police and the 3 deputies, none being of any other descent, I said, no, because the people taking up those roles now, at the time of them joining the force or the public sector, the Indians were interested in their children becoming lawyers, doctors, and engineers and teachers. And he said to me, he said, I see you as being more enlightened than me. And I asked the question, I said, is this comment sarcasm or genuinity? And he said, genuine, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, we as political scientists are not only, we are going to have to talk about the issues that are uncomfortable to the general public. And you're going to have to be able to put yourself out there to say the fact. And the fact of the matter is, like, for example, when for independence, Kamala talked about, people said that nobody struggled for independence. Independence was simply given to us because we wanted it, and it was at a time when the Commonwealth, the realms of the empire was getting independence, right? And there was also a discussion about, she was talking about how the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, as it exists now, could not be agreed upon in Port of Spain, and that it had to be agreed upon at Marlborough House in London, when both the opposition and the government went to Marlborough House to sign to get some consensus, and it was the British that had to come in and help with regard to finding consensus. What she does not tell the country is that Dr. Eric Williams also became prime minister by default, because we had a opposition leader. Both of them were going into going to Britain. Both 𝗵𝗵 and Williams are going to Britain. Both of them were going to seek independence for Trinidad and Tobago. But the point about it is that Williams was more interested in the politics and more interested in the office and attaining the independence and power that came with it than 𝗵𝗵. 𝗵𝗵 was straddling between being a politician and an academic, because he enjoyed being called Dr. 𝗵𝗵. He enjoyed being a mathematician. He enjoyed lecturing. And for a large period of time, after we became independent, he was known as the absentee opposition leader, because he was not in Trinidad as often, because he was busy lecturing in the United Kingdom, right? So our history and our political history must be taught to those generations that are following after us in the correct way. That the fact of the matter is that the black man became the prime minister because the Indian man wanted to follow his dream of becoming an academic. Plain and simple. And if somebody has an issue with it, go back into the history books and you will read it.
You know,
It's
Dr.
there.
Mohammed, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago want to whitewash what you just stated here. And not only that,
Of course.
Yeah.
Listen, there are people that are going to, there are people who will not whitewash what I just said, you know. They're going to take issue with it. And they're going without looking or reading about it and say, well, you lie. But no, that is the truth. And it is in the books for you to see that 𝗵𝗵𝗃 for many years was known as the absentee opposition leader.
And I just wanted to go back to something that you have said. And this is another statement that we make in Trinidad and Tobago, that somehow the police force was discriminating against Indians, and why those at the top are predominantly, you know, people of color, and we don't have no assistant commissioner of police. But as you said, and that's what I know too, is that at that point in time, they didn't want to be part of the police department.
No,
They wanted to do other things, and nothing was wrong with that.
Listen, no, exactly. And that's the thing. That's what people are not understanding. And I'm very passionate about this, because the truth of the matter is that the culture, the society's culture has remained the same. When you have people who and for a very long time, if you were not from Indian families, if you were not academically inclined, you would get a good cocktail to become academically inclined, because the families look down on people who were doing trades, right? So plumbing and welding and fabricating and all of those things were not something that they wanted their children to become, but they wanted them to, well, if he doing a trade, it's because he's doing the trade to go and teach the trade in a school. So he's a teacher, right? He's not a tradesman. You understand? Because title also was a factor in the thing, right? However, they didn't see that. Okay, so for example, for when Pandey was in power, during that period that Pandey was in power, there were a lot of Indians that had come into the public service that would eventually become senior public servants. And we are seeing that, we saw that happen 20 years after. And now that they're now in the public service, that entrance of persons into the public service, and that callaloo of people that entered into the public service at a senior level is now very multicolored, right? And it's biracial and that sort of thing. But there was a period in time that the Indians didn't want to become a public servant. And if they did, it was because they wanted to become teachers.
Dr. Mohammed.
That's how it is. My lady.
How are you doing? I'm very elated at what you said there about 𝗵𝗵𝗃 and Dr. Williams. Because there was a chat where it was stated that the position was taken away from 𝗵𝗵𝗃 and given to Dr. Eric Williams, and the word racism was put behind that statement. So I'm very elated that you clarified that the 𝗵𝗵𝗃 wanted to pursue his studies, and Dr. Williams was more interested in the political arena, and that is why he ended up being prime minister.
In fact, I could even go a step further. When the question was asked as to who will become prime minister, between both of them, 𝗵𝗵𝗃 did not push himself forward. He said, give it to Williams. Because he knew he did not want, while he was a politician and while he was in the parliament, he was caught in between two professions, and one had to suffer. He knew he would not have been able to commit to being prime minister.
And is this documented in any history book? And
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
History books.
I wanted it out there because I saw it in a chat.
The history books.
I saw it in a chat recently, and I was horrified, and I said, wow. And this is where it starts, and people pushing this sort of rhetoric to divide the races. And I know for a fact that this is not so. And this story is being pushed and propagated. And I'm glad a qualified person like yourself have come forth to clarify that rhetoric. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed. Thank you.
Dr. Mohammed, let me tell you something, right? The first time you was here, 99.9% of the people say, boy, that fella real good. I ain't lying to you. 99.9%. Where that fella come from? That man.
Princess Town.
No, because the thing about it is that we have something here called in the village, and we want to speak truth to power, right? We want a country, we want a unified country, right? We want a country where everybody can have an equal place in the country. And if a person talks truth to power, all of a sudden, when you talk some truth, they go say, but you see, I feel he's a P&M. You gotta be a P&M. If you talk something, and if you talk something the other way, you know what? I think he's a UNC. I think he's a UNC. And we cannot start to look at the things from a factual standpoint. If there are the facts to back it up, it is what it is. It is what.
In fact,
don't always try to put people in a barrel.
Trinidadians, not Tobagonians, and there's a difference between the political culture and sociological culture of both Trinidad and Tobago. There's a huge difference, and everybody knows that. I have been able, and I am very proud of this, and this is fact. This is not fiction. I have been lucky enough and privileged to be welcomed into the Tobago space, to be able to sit down and analyze their politics and engage the people of Tobago and become the only Indian that has been able to infiltrate into the sociological structure and political structure of the Tobagonian people and be welcomed. And it is because I take an approach that I have always said, that if you take my grandmother's 10 grandchildren, you're going to see from very white all the way down to very black. You're going to see, and we come in twos. The very black is Madras Indian, 2. Very white is Caucasian, 2. 2 Douglas, 2 Indians, and 2 half Chinese. Right? So there's no way that I could ever be racist, because that is not the family life that I came from either. It is neither the school life that I came from either, right? So I don't understand how people can be blatantly racist in a country that we grew up in, where your next door neighbor is of a different color, and where you're running on the street and you're playing hide and seek, and your friends and your neighbors are different colors, right? But the point I'm trying to make is this. We have a problem in this country where people like to put you in a box. And because your life was a particular way 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it means that you have remained the same. You have not changed. So that because I was, and I tell people this, I will, and I have no problem saying it on an international platform like this either, that there is a part of my life that I learned politics, practical politics, from 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫. I also learned practical politics from Winston Dukaran and 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫. Of all three, I also learned it from Manning, but not in an intimate way that I did with Pandey. And I have also observed Manning, Rowley. All 5 of those leaders, right? I will say to you, I have always said that the best out of the lot was Pandey and Manning. Why? Because they raise the bar of politics in our country, where they can agree to differ and then also come together and be statesmen and unite even though they came from 2 different political divides. We are having a horrible time in this country in the 21st century to get 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫 and Keith Rowley to be in the same room together. We just had our 60th independence anniversary, and 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫 was absent from every single thing. And you know what the problem I have? The problem I have is, well, and this is the argument to justify it. Well, Rowley and his opposition was absent from our 50th anniversary when Kamala was prime minister. So because Rowley did something when he was opposition leader, it's okay for Kamala to do it when she's opposition leader. So we are not progressing politically whatsoever. We don't know how to put country first, right? Look at today, for example. Today was a significant day in Britain, and we, for the last 2 years and more, have heard that Prince Charles, as he was then, and his son, the Duke of Sussex, Harry, were at odds with each other. Up to just the other day, I was listening to CNN, and one of the commentators were talking about how when Harry and William come together, it's going to be a very cool thing, and they're not sure that the relationship is going to be able to be mended and that kind of thing. But today, the entire royal family was out in their numbers. Those that were at Windsor, which is Harry and William, they came out with their wives. They walked and talked with each other, and the people will say blood thicker than water, but there's also politics that people like to put in between there, so that they could divide and get commentary. We have political scientists, and I make no apologies for saying this. They are political scientists who are not aware of how the royals work, right? And they make commentary on international platforms like CNN and BBC and all that, and talk about them and say, well, they will never come together because the line has drawn in the sand. But one thing I will say, that my cousin has always said to me, in their instance, blood is thicker than water, and therefore they knew how to come together, right? They know what is important. Family is important at the end of the day, and they've shown the country and the world that they can put their differences together aside for the greater good of the nation. This is not, and listen, this is not, and even King Charles said it, that he mentioned his sons and his daughters-in-law's name in his speech and his love for them, because he is now going to have to be an example to you, show an example from a family perspective and as a leader and as a father in order to unite his country, right? We in Trinidad and Tobago don't care. We say anything, anytime, anyhow, anywhere. And if you even try to put in a word of objectivity in it, they want to kick in your mouth.
Yeah, absolutely correct is right. You know, it's just unbelievable sometimes. But Dr. Mohammed, you went to Tobago. What is your take on the bacchanal and confusion that's going on with the PDP and the THA in Tobago? Now, let me ask a question. How can let me take a take. I'll ask you that question after. Go ahead. What's your take?
Duke is wrong. Plain and simple. Okay. Duke is wrong. Plain out wrong. What he wants Farley to do is illegal. Farley came out and he said, I reached out to these people in New York. I spoke to Vanilla Allen Toppin. I made sure that they had somewhere to stay. I made sure that they had food to eat. And when I was able to, I dished out $400,000 and change to cover their expenses, right? It's not like he didn't do nothing. He went and he found 400, not 4,000 or 40,000, but $400,000.
Yeah, 400,000. I plenty money. I plenty money. I know joke.
To help 27 people.
I plenty money.
To help 27 people who are representing Tobago in a private capacity. Right? And what Duke wants Farley to do is give them more. That is against the law. That is against the law. You can't simply expect the chief secretary to sign a check or give the chief secretary to give a directive to the chief administrator to give them more money when he gave them $400,000. And you want to know something? I am not surprised. I always knew that Watson Duke was not going to be able to keep himself in check as it pertains to being what I would say loyal to the cause, because what he has done, he's shown, and I have said it before and I will say it again. Watson Duke does not understand politics. One, he got into politics by a fluke, right? Because he's able to captivate the minds of the locals within his district, right? And yes, he's able to help them. I'm not saying he has not helped them, but what he does not understand is that the framework of politics, right, also having it public administration and the bureaucracy and the framework of governance, which is all part of the entire big scheme of things as it pertains to political science. Political science is the framework of every single state that exists on this planet, right? Political science is what has given us statehood, and then has the framework of the foundation of political science then builds into it proper structures such as the bureaucracy and the ways in which we do business as and the whole structure of government, and then it goes into the whole structure of the whole concept and ideology of governance, of which there's a process and a procedure to follow, rules and regulations of the public service that 𝗪𝗪 as chief secretary and Rowley as prime minister, and all other ministers have to follow. There are rules that govern their remit. And if you are the deputy chief secretary, I would have thought that you would have taken up a book and read it about public administration, right? And understand that you can't just make demands like that and say, oh, you put the people in from Tobago, you ain't care about them, you leave them on the road, and you total untruths, right? But thank God we have an honest man as the chief secretary, and he came out and he said what he did. But when at the time of commenting on the issue, I said to the news reporters that this is not an issue this is not a political issue. This is a governance issue. And as a governance issue, I am very passionate about good governance, because as part of my thesis and my specialization, right? Good governance is what is going to cause a country to progress in the right direction. But when you have people who want to feel that they own the coffers and the public purse and just dish out money and give away just so, right? All of that is going to determine what is in the budget for Tobago when Imbert reads the budget. Take into consideration that the budget is on the 26th of this month. We have an impasse between the secretary and the chief secretary and the deputy chief secretary, because the deputy chief secretary does not understand public administration and the role of the bureaucracy and how things work, right? That is also going to reflect that you think Imbert ain't going to be watching on to say, oh, you want to waste money? You feel you go on there to waste money? All right, all you want 6.97% for all your budget, I'll give all you 3. And then what? This time he will, because of Duke's incompetence and because of his lack of his ability to control his mouth, which is why he lost the Tobago East election in 2020, he's going to cause the progress of the island of Tobago to be stymied if they get less money in the budget.
So is this a situation where Duke has decided, if I can't get me, we're going to mash up the whole thing?
Yeah, because he made it political when he fired 𝗪𝗪. When he removed 𝗪𝗪 and Faith and one other as the political leaders. Yeah, when he made it, when he made it political when at that point in time, it wasn't political before, it was all governance.
But now, Dr. Mohammed, in order for them to remove 𝗪𝗪, there has to be a vote of no confidence in the Tobago House of Assembly with the majority of individuals, right? Isn't that the same too as well for the deputy secretary?
No. The deputy chief secretary is appointed by the chief secretary. He advises the president.
So the chief secretary can remove the deputy chief secretary at his will?
Yes, he can.
Okay. I heard 𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗃 and 𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗃 said something a little different.
What do you say?
He said that they have to have a no confident votes in the general secretary in order to remove him from the general secretary position?
Okay, hold on. The chief, there has to be a vote of no confidence in the chief secretary to remove him from office.
Right. That's understood.
Right, but the deputy chief secretary is different. He's selected by the chief secretary.
So he's appointed by the chief secretary. And there was there ever a deputy? There was not deputy chief secretary previously, right? That was a new office.
No. The deputy chief secretary in the last administration was also the secretary for finance. This boy. I remember it just now. He let me tell you who it was.
Okay, yeah. So okay. So that means to say that in order to the chief secretary can remove the deputy chief secretary at his will.
Yeah, right? he can advise the president.
Okay, and he has to advise the president that he's going to remove. So Watson Duke only game that he can play is that he has to
political one.
He has to rally enough people within the THA that's going to vote for no confidence against 𝗏𝗏 in order for 𝗏𝗏 to lose his chief secretary position. Is that correct?
And that's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
So you are saying that most of them in there, they had to pick a side. You had to pick a side now, right? You had to pick a side. Either you're picking 𝗏𝗏 or you're picking Duke, right?
But if you pick a side, and you pick Duke's side, you can mash up the government. Because if you kick out the chief secretary, which if you kick out the chief secretary, then you trigger an election.
So you trigger a new election?
Yeah. It's going to be the same way like a government. When a government falls, it's because they've won a no confidence motion of no confidence in the prime minister. Remember, when a motion of no confidence in the prime minister is won, the government falls. There's no removing the prime minister and putting somebody else. It's a calling of an election.
So if there's a no confident vote, we kind of if in here, right? That means to say that, and it goes 8-6, for example, in favor of the no confidence vote. Does there have to be a majority or a certain amount as far as the constitution of the THA is concerned?
No, as far as I know, it is
just the majority.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means to say that, and if there's a no
Joel Jack, the name of the former deputy chief secretary was Joel Jack.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So if there is a no confident vote and and 𝗏𝗏 wins, then 𝗏𝗏 is all powerful.
Remains. Yeah. But for there to be a motion of no confidence, the motion has to be filed. There has to be signatures. There has to be all of those things that to get the motion to be piloted in the assembly.
But Duke could file a no confidence motion because he's part of the 14, right?
He's part of the 14.
Right. So he could file a no confidence and and he could try to see if he can rally 7 other individuals.
Which he won't get.
Okay. Well, he not getting Faith, Alicia, and 𝗏𝗏. So that's 3 he already lose. Right?
He not getting none. He ain't getting none. Listen, he ain't getting none.
You feel so?
After they work so damn hard to win this thing and wrestle to 14, and they wrestle to 15, and then they Lego the 15th one and say, you know what, we ain't going to bother. After they work so hard, after all 13 and listen, they won seats that they didn't believe that they were going to win, which is critical to this thing, right? For example, they were able to throw down political giants. They were able to throw down Marcelin Melville Jack, one of the most senior politicians in Tobago under the PNM. One, they were able to throw down Joel Jack, which is the deputy chief secretary. They were able to throw down Ansel Dennis, which is and when I was saying this to them on election night, because I walked into the TV station and they say, what's the prediction? I said 15-0, right? And they would look at me like, what? I said 15-0. I said, it's either one of two things. This election, you're either going to have a massive swing to the left or a massive swing to the right. It's either all PNM or all PDP. There's not going to be nothing in the middle, right? It turned out in the first rounds to be all PDP. And then they do the check, they do recount, and then Kelvin Morris win the seat by 3 votes. 3 votes,
Yeah.
right? Right. So when I walk in the station to give my commentary, I said 15-0. They said, Mohammed, but how you could come up with, I said 15-0. They say 15-0 for who? I said 15-0 in favor of the PDP. PDP going to win. And the reason they're going to win is because Tracy Davidson is a complete wreck as a leader. I have absolutely no confidence in her. Her arrogance is beyond measure. She behaves as if she wheels and deals the entire power, and she does. And she divided her own party. The PNM itself was divided for the first time in years under her leadership. Therefore, if all of that karma was in your favor, are they going to lose it because of Duke? Well, that'd be a bunch of fools.
So somebody asked a question, but I think that question was answered. Duke cannot remove 𝗏𝗏 as the chief secretary. He cannot.
No, that's a presidential appointment.
Yeah. So that's out of the question. So it appears to me that at the end of the day that 𝗏𝗏 is going to be in the driver's seat.
He will always be in the driver's seat.
So Duke might have to pack up his marbles, take his marbles, and go home.
Dr. Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed has said it already to him in the public domain that if Duke feels so strongly about the issue, cross the floor.
Dr. Mohammed, don't you believe that the only reason why the PDP won is because of 𝗏𝗏 being the chief secretary?
Very good observation. Correct. I also believe that. The people of Tobago voted for 𝗏𝗏 Augustine and his team. They did not only vote for PDP, they voted for the individuals. That gentleman carried a lot in terms of, and had a huge role to play in the PDP winning that election. If it was Duke running that election, they would have not won.
Yeah,
I believe.
And even if they had won, they would have won by 1 or 2 seats, not clean sweep.
I believe that Duke knows this and it worries him. This is my humble opinion.
Well, the fact is, and you know what? I don't even. He's not even behaving like he's worried. He's behaving like he just doesn't care anymore. And so then what? So then what? You are like every other politician. You've already been converted to an experienced politician in the likes of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and others, who people just wish would go home and allow people to breathe.
Just go away, right?
Yeah, just go. You know, it's unfortunate.
Well, I guess. Well, Ulrich, he already removed him. I'm answering someone here in the chat. He already removed him as the political leader of the PDP. So Watson Duke held the first shot, so to speak, and removed 𝗏𝗏 as the deputy
and with
leader
his limited
of the PDP.
Power. Which is limited power.
Right, but you don't have. It's not something like Trinidad, where it's that the political party that wins, right, in Trinidad wins the most seats. The political leader of that party that wins the most seats becomes the prime minister. It's not like that in Tobago, right? Because he was designated that if the PDP won, he would have been the chief, correct?
Yeah. They had made that arrangement before, that he was going to be the chief, and that is also based on you have to tell the president, indicate to the president by the majority who has the majority support. So that was already in, and they sold that. They sold it on the platform. It was when the question was asked as to who will be the chief secretary if the PDP won, and they said 𝗏𝗏. That was it. They had, I think that is when the wave hit the whole country, the whole island, one shot.
Let me ask a question. Can
Sure.
the members of the PDP who remain right now in office vote to install
Somebody
𝗏𝗏
says, if the Begonians don't want 𝗏𝗏, bring him Trinidad.
No, I'm saying can they vote?
Yeah,
can they vote to install 𝗏𝗏 as a political leader?
Yeah, did you hear that, Dr. Mohammed?
Yeah, I heard.
Did you hear that?
If the thing about it is, though.
Did you hear me?
You hearing? I'm hearing you very clearly.
Someone says, if the Begonian don't want 𝗏𝗏, Judy says, if the Begonians don't want 𝗏𝗏, bring him Trinidad.
To be honest with you, I had a conversation with 𝗏𝗏 on this. In fact, I interviewed him about whether he would ever want to aspire for high office, and he said his focus has always been on Tobago's development. The man has a dream for Tobago, and he has a vision.
Yeah. So, Dr. Mohammed, where do you see this thing going? Where do you see in your crystal ball that you have, your political crystal ball in front of you that you have there, and you know the genie comes out at the top, you know, and you see a PDP coming out at the top. Where do you see this all ending up? Where do you see this all going and ending up?
I can't tell you my strategy yet.
Okay. All right.
I asked you a question before that.
I've made one pronouncement, and I've said it, and I've said this, and I'll say this, and this is it. There's two options. If Duke feels so strongly about it, and he has broken ranks by virtue of dismissing 𝗏𝗏 as his deputy political leader, then I think there's nothing else left for him to do but to leave the administration altogether. You have what if you are the man's deputy. You have broken ranks at the political level, then there is no reason for you to hold on to the deputy chief secretary position. Send in your resignation, put your money where your mouth is, and go and sit on the opposition side.
So you mean cross the floor?
Go and take you and your political leadership and go and sit on the other side.
So you had to cross the floor to the PNM?
No, he's the political leader of the PDP.
But wait. No, I don't understand that. How if he decides that he's gonna give up his position, if he crosses the floor in the Tobago House of Assembly, he has to be part of the opposition now.
He can do it independently. He can do it independently too.
He can go. No, he can't do it independently.
No,
he's already drawn the line in the sand, and he's already dismissed 𝗏𝗏 as deputy political leader. So in his mind, 𝗏𝗏 and Alicia and Faith has no locus standi in terms of at the political level within the party structure. So he is the political leader of the PDP. He has won his seat under the PDP. Take your seat and go over with your political leadership to the PNM, to the opposition side, and be an opposition member.
But he has to be part of the PNM to be an opposition member.
No, said who?
No.
No.
How could you if you cross in the floor, you can't cross. You're crossing the floor to be an independent.
No, you're crossing the floor to be a PDP opposition member.
So to oppose the own party?
Yes.
How does that work?
Exactly how I told you.
Wow. You think that will happen?
That's what should happen.
Can the remaining 13 persons form a party and of their own that can Dr. Mohammed, you hear my argument?
Yeah, Tommy.
I am hearing you loud and clear. Dr. Mohammed at this point in time pleads the fifth.
Yeah. You see that big smile?
I'm making sense or I'm making nonsense?
You're making too much sense, man.
I have not till now. I have
Tommy.
not.
You're making sense. So what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm trying to figure out there is that there's a possibility that
There's a possibility that.
Okay, he's kind of frozen. So what I'm hearing, Tommy, is that there's a possibility that these 13 people can decide, you know what? We no longer want to be part of the PDP, right? All of us resign, right? But if they resign, can they still stay in the assembly if they all resign from the PDP?
Of course they can.
I guess
Of
they
course
can,
they
right?
can, because they are
Because they were
elected.
elected.
Yeah, of course. Yes, they are elected members.
And they can form their own organization.
They don't need to form an
They
organization
can form their own
to
party.
be part of. They could form their own party if they wish, but there's no need for the formation of a political party at this point in time, because they are elected members of the assembly. So they are the government. They don't have to label themselves. They are a group of collective members of that have come together and formed the government.
Okay. So
There's
they don't
no
have
need.
they don't have to label themselves at all.
There's no need to label themselves whatsoever. They can continue just doing their jobs as executed, because the day they got
Cooperating
sworn
with
in,
each other as normal.
yeah. The day they got sworn in, right? They pledge allegiance to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and to the Constitution, right? Not to the political party.
So, Dr. Mohammed, if you
They
are
they are
accurate in your-
representatives. They are representatives of the state.
Okay.
So, Dr. Mohammed, let's say you are accurate in your pronouncements, right? Okay, all right. I think we lost him. Okay, you back there? Now, let's say you are accurate in your pronouncement. Then it appears to me that in the end of the day, Watson-Duke is going to be the loser.
Of course. Of course,
Right?
he's a loser. He's a loser all now.
That's what it appears to me. So
He
we
has
have
lost.
internet difficulties with him. He's frozen.
You hearing me?
Right.
You hearing me again? You hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing
You
you.
all hearing? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a
Are
little
you hearing?
fluctuation in the internet. I'm hearing you all. Yeah. As long as
Go
you're
ahead.
hearing me, right?
Yeah, you hearing us?
Yeah, very clearly. Yes, I am good. I have a little bit of a
We having a little internet problems with him. I'm not hearing him.
Yeah. You tell me when you're hearing me. Tell me when you're hearing me. You're hearing me?
I can hear you. Anselm, can you
Okay,
hear
Dr.
him?
Mohammed, you want to go back out
Yes.
and come back in quickly? Yeah.
Yes.
You
let
want
me
to
do
go back?
that. I'm
Go
coming
back
up.
out and come back in. Yeah, go back out and come back in. Go back out and come back in. Yeah. We hearing him, but
You know, I heard him. I heard him right through in Anselm.
Yeah, you were saying him?
Yeah.
Oh,
All the time.
I should have still. Yeah, should I just still leave it? Yeah, he's back. He's back.
All right. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm back.
Dr. Mohammed, you back with us?
Yeah. Let me hear you. all. What's the
So
question?
listen to this. That mischievous smile you had there.
Let me hear you all.
That mischievous smile you had when we was talking about the 13 people deciding to.
The 13 people deciding to.
Decided to do what, Anselm? Anselm, it sounds like your internet is freezing.
His internet is now giving trouble.
Yeah, it's Anselm's. Anselm, your connectivity is giving some problems.
It sounds like my one.
All right,
Yeah,
you're good
All
now.
right, so we're gonna talk with Dr. Mohammed. Go ahead. Tell him what I said.
What did tell me what you said?
I couldn't hear him, just like you and I were able to talk, but we were hearing him the same way. Can you hear me? Anselm, are you hearing us? I know I'm hearing you and you're hearing me, but Anselm is not. Anselm? Wow.
He gone? Or he could come back in?
I don't know if he's gone, but he's not hearing us.
Let me go out and come back in again.
No, don't go.
Okay.
Don't go. Anselm,
Right.
Anselm, you back?
Me now?
Yeah,
now we
yeah.
can hear.
Yeah, I'm back.
Right,
I'm
now
hearing
say
you.
what you were saying before, because him
Hello?
and I, Mohammed and I, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah.
Ask your question again, Anselm.
I don't know.
Oh, Anselm, your internet is sticking.
Yeah, his internet is sticking.
Yeah, your internet is
guess-
sticking.
so Yeah, basically, it's things wrong with me. No, it's me. It's me. It's me. All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what I was saying.
What you were saying?
Break again.
Yeah, he's
It just showed me
he's
that.
having some little problems.
All right.
Yeah.
Answer.
Ask him, can
so
you hear?
Tommy,
Right.
yeah, are you
Okay.
hearing me, Tommy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We
every
hear
once
you.
in a while you're kind of falling off.
Yeah, because yeah, it's my internet. It's my internet. So what I said is that when we talked to Dr. Mohammed and we talked about the 13 people deciding to go off in their own little corner and leave the one Watson Duke over in his corner, you know, Dr. Mohammed kind of smiled, you know, because he didn't want to make a pronouncement that
You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM.
I'm gonna just let it
The
flow.
most
Top of the hour, Dr. Mohammed.
Yeah,
Hold on, Dr. Mohammed.
Jersey for
You gotta go for the top of the hour.
most tortured information.
Okay.
All right. I got it. Yeah. So Dr. Mohammed, you didn't want to give us your prediction. Normally you would have give us a prediction. You didn't want to give us a prediction. What you think? What's your forecast for what? This is the first time, you know, this is the first time you didn't want to say something. You're normally very forthright and forthcoming, but this time, you know, you was kind of reserved, you know. Why is that?
Because I'm only willing to say that at this stage that he's drawn the line in the sand, and he has literally made himself an enemy of everybody else, and it goes to show he really doesn't care for all the hard work that was put in order for them to achieve the goal that they did. And therefore, if he feels so strongly about the situation that it was because 𝗏𝗏 said he was going to re-examine his roles and functions as the Deputy Chief Secretary, and I saw nothing wrong with that. That is the prerogative of the Chief Secretary. Duke went the next day and he called an executive meeting and he dismissed his 3 deputies. Now, why would he okay, if you wanted to dismiss 𝗏𝗏, what did Alicia and Faith do or say, right? Mm-hmm. To deserve you having to dismiss them as well, right? There was nothing in the works. There was no comments. Nothing, absolutely nothing was said by these 2 individuals. But yet you took the time to dismiss everybody, right? It goes to say that you have totally and blatantly disrespected the goodwill of the people of Tobago, who saw in the team the ability to move the island forward, and therefore gave you a landslide mandate to carry on with the business of the island and to take the island forward.
Dr. Mohammed,
go ahead.
I'm wondering who were these executives that were involved in that particular meeting that made the decision?
Right.
No, he didn't. No. That was an executive decision on the part of the political leader. Apparently, in the constitution of the PDP, the prerogative of the political leader is to appoint his 3 deputies.
Yes, but he said he had an executive meeting.
He said on an executive meeting.
Yeah, well, in the executive meeting, they had to have an executive meeting. So in the executive meeting, he made the executive decision and dismissed all the deputies.
The question I'm asking is that who other executive would support him making that decision in an executive meeting?
No, well, in that, no, it's not a matter of having the support. It is his prerogative as the political leader in their constitution, so that he didn't need consensus.
So himself could by himself have an executive meeting with himself.
But no, he could have he could have done it by himself via a media briefing. He could have done it via a press release. But he specifically wanted to embarrass the 3 of them. So he held an executive meeting and he looked at everybody in the executive, because they are members of the assembly who are members of the executive, to see who would be so brazen or brave enough to oppose him, and nobody said anything when they did. I gather that's a political strategy on the part of those that are already, that are the others that are sitting in the executive and in the assembly. But at the end of the day, regardless of what, I stand by what I say. If you feel so strongly about the issue that you are not satisfied that he gave almost $500,000 to one group of persons who, and he said it, he said it. And he said the reason he went to that extent was because they were stranded in a foreign country, and that he did not want them to be stranded and embarrassed, and he did not want them to be without accommodation and all of those things, because he felt a duty of care to take care of them, because to take care of his own. So he went the extra mile, right? But what if it is that you don't believe that that was good enough? I stand by what I say. Then you need to leave the executive. You've broken ranks at the political level already. So then there's no need for you to sit as the deputy of the chief secretary, because if 𝗩𝗏 needs to leave the country, this man in charge.
You know,
just 𝗩𝗏 can't go nowhere. You know, he can't even want to venture outside like Rowley to get foreign direct investment for Tobago.
Well, I thought that was Duke's job though, to get to
That
go.
is not. No. Duke's job was to go to the diaspora, to the Tobagonian diaspora, to get persons to come back home and invest. That's different from getting international investors to come in and invest in Tobago in a macro way.
But wasn't that one of the reasons why he went to Dubai, in order to bring foreign direct investment into Tobago?
Listen, and how successful was that?
Yeah, well, I mean, but
he didn't do nothing. It was all.
Let me tell you this, sir. I could tell you that Watson Duke only learned about foreign direct investment recently.
Yes.
I can tell you that. I wouldn't say anymore. If you had told that guy about 2 months ago about foreign direct investment, he might have thought it was something in Trinidad up from any country. I'm speaking that what I don't know. I don't talk what I don't know. I can guarantee you. I'm guaranteeing you. 2-3 months ago, right, he has no clue about what foreign direct investment is. Absolutely no.
If the man does not understand the principles that govern public administration, and there's a dichotomy between political and apolitical, there's a relationship between the two, but there's also a line, a very fine line that cannot be crossed, right? You cannot demand as a secretary, demand from your administrator, right? You cannot demand that monies be sent to people. You can't demand, because let me tell you something. That could lead to misbehavior in public office. That could lead to fraud. It would, and let me tell you something. It also puts in Duke doesn't know this, but in the rules and regulations of the public service, the person who is charged with signing that check is not the chief secretary, is the administrator. And administrators and permanent secretaries who are on the same level have been hauled before the disciplinary committee of the public service for questionable actions, and for whether or not, and they have been suspended while they were under investigation, to see whether or not they acted inappropriately and they misappropriated funds. And let me tell you something. If this is so serious, administrators and permanent secretaries can go to jail. They can have their house and their assets seized in order to repay the money that was misspent if there's evidence of misappropriation of funds. This is not an easy job. This is not this particular issue. It is very and highly technical, and it is clinically protected by the rules and regulations of the public service, especially the part about spending. That is where Duke does not understand. He's wrong.
So I just wanted to follow up on Tommy's question. I saw the press release with respect. He met with the executive. So the executive is partially people who are currently making up the 14 in the THA. What I would like to know, I mean, I don't know, is which of those, we know it wasn't 𝗲𝗲, we know it wasn't 𝗪𝗏, we know it wasn't 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, right? So we know there's 11 of them left. I would simply like to know which of the 11 met with him as an executive in order for him to make that decision.
They all went to the executive meeting, you know.
Really? They did?
Everybody was at the executive meeting. Everybody went to the executive meeting.
That he made the decision to get rid of them?
Yeah. They didn't know that was coming. They didn't know that was coming.
Oh, okay. So they all went because of what happened?
No, they all went because it was a regular executive meeting that they went to.
Oh, it was a regular executive meeting?
Yeah. It wasn't
the one that was called because of what happened with respect to him in New York?
No, from my understanding, no. It was a normal, they accustomed going to executive meeting. They went to the executive meeting, and when everybody sat down, he bust their throat.
Oh. So someone is asking this question. Ulrich says Duke fired the other two people because of something else going on behind closed doors.
Ulrich, what going on behind closed doors?
Dr. Mohammed, Dr. Mohammed, show us your sleeve again. Show us your sleeve again. You have something up them two sleeves, you know.
I agree, Aslam.
Yeah. Now I think Ulrich didn't even hear it.
What going on? What Ulrich? What going on? What going on behind closed doors?
Ulrich, I think since you get a new car company, boy, you're starting to get up with some real serious thing there, Ulrich. Yeah. So I think that this thing was kind of festering, and this was the opportunity in order for him to do what he had to do. And I don't think he really sat and thought about this and look at the end result and say, what are the possibilities that could happen if I do this? You know, where does it leave me if I do this? Because people are going to pick a size, and I can tell you, I mean, I've never been in the THA. If I'm in the THA and we've been waiting so long to get here, I'm supporting 𝗲𝗲. I'm supporting 𝗲𝗲.
Same thing.
It's that simple. Plain and simple. Right?
But
listen, the continuity of governance must continue and go on. There must be nothing to break it. So that's why I'm saying there are things that 𝗲𝗲 can do as well, right? It's just a matter of waiting to see what is his next move, if any at all. But he did say from the onset that he was going to revisit the duties and responsibilities of the deputy chief secretary, right? Because you can't have a man wanting to spend money and listen, you know why he making such a hoo-ha about this whole thing? It's because the dance company come from his constituency, his electoral district.
Right.
Yeah.
But moreover,
so you want to give your grand charging because you want to show the people of Roxborough that you're fighting for them, because you have this grand plan that Roxborough will become a city. I don't know if you all saw the plan.
Yeah.
We saw plan for Roxborough.
Yeah.
Right. Good. So you want to show people that you have, you're fighting for them. But whether or not Duke is in the assembly and whether or not Duke is the representative for Roxborough, Delaford, it matters not, because at the end of the day, governance, the whole issue of governance and the distribution of resources for the different areas of Tobago in order to build capacity and establish development, infrastructural development, continues. So whether or not Duke is part of the assembly or not, and they're going to build the city of Roxborough, they're going to do it.
Dr. Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
I'm going in another direction here. Now, Mr. Duke wants to be the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
He wants to what?
He expressed wanting to be the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Not after what he did just the other day.
I fully agree. not after that, because now he has shown his hand, and people can make a good decision. Or
I could say without a doubt that the PDP in Tobago, the PDP in Trinidad, has not taken off.
Why you say that? I thought it looks like
I understand.
I was there. I was at the launch. I did commentary for Tobago Channel 5 on the day of the launch of the PDP in Trinidad, and I kept shaking my head. I kept shaking my head. I kept shaking my. I did not. I was unimpressed.
What made you unimpressed?
Now I understand
the attitude of the personal. No, let me say what I did say. The attitude of the characters that were chosen to be part of the executive in Trinidad was nothing even closely compared to the humility that exists in Tobago. And the ethos of the PDP in winning the election to the extent that it did was at the top of it was humility. Those fellas went on the ground and those ladies went on the ground and they shook hands and they made promises, and there was no grandeur, right? They went foot to foot. They went house to house. I could tell you they didn't have the extravagant money that like the PNM had, but they went and they greeted people. They met with people on a next level, right? And they won the hearts of the people. Therefore, at the end of the day, Ulrich saying there's three sides to a story. Yes, Ulrich, I agree. There's three sides of the story: Watson's side, Farley's side, and the political scientist side.
Okay. Now, Dr. Mohammed, staying with the Trinidad effort. From what I read, I don't know if it's right or wrong, Duke wanted Farley to assist in financing an office for the 𝗪𝗎/PDP in Trinidad. Is that true? And Farley disagreed?
No, the hold on. The PDP, the 𝗪𝗎 has a plan to establish a 𝗪𝗎 sub office in Trinidad, in Port of Spain, as part of the portfolio of the Deputy Chief Secretary to maintain a relationship, a working relationship between the 𝗪𝗎 and the central government. It was not about to have anything to do with the PDP. In fact, the PDP, I think they have their own headquarters in 𝗪𝗎𝗶𝗁 or somewhere around there. They have their own headquarters, right? But I am telling you that the people that came to the launch fit in one of the smaller ballrooms of the Hyatt, right? Maybe 500 people, let's just say, if so much. I don't think it was. 10 people to a table, it probably had about 350 people, so much, right? That can't win any constituency. That can't win any electoral district. He was also focusing on particular areas. He was focusing in particular areas, and my information, and I'm not asking, I'm telling you all that he had to seek assistance to get into Laventille, to go up the hills into Laventille, because obviously, you know, the history is that it's very territorial. And when he did, he went up there, and the Oh God.
No, you saying it right. You saying it right. The gang leader. You saying it right.
You can fancy it up. You can fancy it up, say the tour guide.
You saying it right. The gang leader who had to be paid.
The community leader.
Okay, the community leader. All right.
The community leader.
Yeah.
Right. The community leader that allowed the contingent to come up on the hill. When Watson went up there with the news reporters and all of that, he said that Adrian Leonce couldn't come here again. He can't come up here. He said, Leonce, you can't come up here no more. Up here, people want you here. And as fast as the cameras are rolling, they say, get your so-and-so down the hill and don't ever come back. Right?
Wow.
Because the agreement was that you wouldn't bash the MP.
Right.
Because they were getting resources.
Yeah,
right?
Resources. You're messing with the food.
Correct.
You're messing with the food. We allow you to come.
He was run out of the place.
We allow you to come, but you come, and we had an agreement, and you couldn't live up to that agreement, so you come to mess with the food. So don't come back.
Don't come back. Correct.
Don't come back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have not heard of him. I have not heard of any campaigning and any walks by the PDP in Trinidad since then. What I can tell you in terms of the party that has to be looked at seriously in terms of in Trinidad is the National Transformation Alliance.
You know, Dr. Mohammed, we have had a few individuals from the NTA here. Well, we have had 3 so far. We have had 𝗪𝗏𝗶𝗵, the communication officer. We had 2 deputy political leader, 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗵𝗹, I think it was
Nikolai Edwards and
this what's her name, boy? The deputy check. I forget it. Diana, remember her name? She was whatever is her name. But what it is that, and I mean, to me, people were saying, well, 𝗪𝗏𝗶𝗵𝗵 is a comedian, or we go be a politician. And I'm like, what you guys, what kind of talk is that? The president of Ukraine, it was an actor and a comedian.
Correct.
He's an actor and a comedian. And it's like I'm listening to people and I'm saying, like, you guys are for real? And you know, people running with that.
Bastille Pandey was a bona fide actor.
Ronald Reagan was an actor.
Ronald Reagan was an actor. Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was an actor.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Dr. Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
Are you there?
Yeah, he's there.
Yes, I am.
What are your thoughts, since we're talking about NTA, what are your thoughts about Mr. Griffith for prime ministerialship?
Not a bad choice.
Oh, yeah?
Needs to be very well managed. I'm a friend, eh?
Oh, so
you to tell her that. That's a friend.
But you gonna take the job managing him?
He needs to be managed.
But who could manage Gary, Dr. Mohammed? Come on.
Dr. Mohammed?
Correct. You're smart.
Dr. Mohammed.
I like that.
Ulrich say you was going good all the time. Now you're going off course. Since you started talk about Gary.
What? Why? What happened?
Since you talk about Gary, Ulrich don't like Gary.
You want to Ulrich? You don't like Gary?
Yeah, Ulrich don't like Gary. Ulrich say he was going good all the time.
But Ulrich, let me be fair, right? Let me be fair. Like him, whether you like him or not, right? The man is relevant in the political space.
But Dr. Mohammed, I believe that Gary Griffith should come to the public and tell him, you know what? I no longer want to become commissioner of police.
You can't do that.
Why not?
You have an application inside.
So I mean, but because we know what the end result is going to be.
We don't.
No, we know that.
No, we don't.
Because the prime minister has the ultimate decision.
Not really. Let me tell you this. let me tell you how. Let me tell you.
So this has changed since?
No. This has not changed. What has changed is the commission has changed, right? The leadership of the commission.
Mm-hmm.
The leadership of the commission is a former judicial officer who I'm very, 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 very familiar with in terms of I worked with her before. She is highly qualified. She had the opportunity to stay on as a judicial officer in the appeal court until she turned 70, and she decided to take her retirement at 65, right? The Ray is not a weed smoker, brother. The Justice Judith Jones has an immaculate career and an immaculate reputation of transparency and accountability. She's one of the purest that we have in this country. Mm-hmm. And for Justice Judith Jones to be selected by Madam the President, it is because they have worked together, right? They understand each other's work ethic. If at the interview level and the interview process level, Gary Griffith scores the highest marks, then I have confidence that Madam Justice Judith Jones and her commission has acted fairly. She will then take that and forward it to Her Excellency the President, who will then put it before the Parliament, right? Yes, Rowley has the power of veto, but how does Rowley feel to veto the integrity of a former judicial officer? How can Rowley feel to know that since Gary Griffith demitted office as Commissioner of Police, we have gone up in the amount of murders that are existing. We have gone up in the amount of robberies, home invasions, all of those things. What is more important, the personality or the ability to do the job? That is what is before Rowley. Because this man made a very, the Commissioner of Police said, he is not a politician. He is a police officer. And I took that particular statement and I dissected it. The Commissioner of Police said he is not a politician, he is a policeman. If it is that he's not a politician and he is a police officer, then he is saying to me as an academic that he's a constable. He's a police constable that is sitting down in the chair of commissioner. What would have given me confidence in the commissioner of police is if he said he's not a politician, he's a leader. Because to get to commissioner of police, you have had to rise to the ranks. But if you rise the ranks and get to the highest office in your organization and you're still referring to yourself as a constable, then something is terribly wrong.
But you know, I listen,
Look, Ulrich now telling me right.
So listen to this, right? I think Gary had to pick something. Either you want to be,
of course he has to pick. Of course he has to pick,
commissioner, right? Or you want to be the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
And he could be one or the other. It is true. He can't do both, right?
Yeah, but he's waiting to see what happens with the police, the Commissioner of Police.
And rightfully so. I would do the same if I was him.
Well, I hear you. No, I hear you.
I would do the same.
Right.
If I was here, I would do the same.
Right. You can't be upset with a person looking at two opportunities. You have two opportunities.
No, none whatsoever.
He has an opportunity to be Commissioner of Police. I want to go for that. I'm the leader of the NTA. You know, I don't have to worry about that because I'm already the political leader. You know what I mean? So I mean, but the only my concern with Gary is that he's picking some good people, but can he be managed? Could he be a runaway horse like Watson Duke?
No, I told Gary the other day. I will share this with you all. I said this to him. I said to Gary, I said, let's see what you know what your problem was. And I told you this as your friend. I said, let me tell you something. And I say, as friends, we can say whatever we wish to each other, because at the end of the day, our friendship it endures, right?
Mm-hmm.
I turned to him and I said, Gary, let me tell you something. I said, one problem that I had with you as Commissioner of Police was that you took too much of 𝗪𝗪𝗄𝗃's leadership traits to the office of Commissioner of Police with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one problem. He said, oh God, I know. I said, good. That's the first thing, right? I said, you took too much of her leadership qualities into the office of Commissioner. You were also very, very reactive. I said, you have to be, I am not telling you to not be reactive, you know, but you have to be measured in your reactions. I say, pick your fights. You don't pick all of your fights.
Correct.
Because then you're going to be shooting everybody.
Correct.
You're firing like a madman. You're firing left, right, and center. You don't know, but when you're fighting, when you're firing, you miss, right? If you're firing to everybody, you're missing, right? So I told him, I said, so he said, I will never, I said, well, you will have to learn when to shut up and when to speak. I mean, that is something that, you know, you have to learn to do. You cannot respond to everybody. Not everybody going to like you.
But you
know, think everybody like me?
Dr. Mohammed, since he
ma'am.
has formed a political party and we've had to interact with him, I notice he's sort of
measured.
Yeah, and he has he's learned to what is the word I'm looking for? What's the word delegate. Because when I had to book guests and stuff, one time there was a little bit of mix-up. And I went direct, I tested him. And I went directly to him. And he didn't get involved. And he let the chips fall where they were supposed to his delegated individuals. And the guests, and you know, it worked itself out. And we scheduled them for another day. So he's learned to delegate and not be a sort of autocratic person. And you know, I'm this and I'm. So he's measured and he's learned to delegate. But what I want of him is to be more, to watch his words. Yeah, watch his words.
You want him to be measured and calculated.
Right. And I would like to add to that because, you know, he's been in here and him and I had some run-ins, right? And I wanted to show him that, listen, even though we had run-ins, I'm not going to stop people from the NTA coming on the program because you and I had run-ins. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to show to him, listen, sometimes you have to take the high road sometimes. Sometimes, you know, you got to say, you know what? I'm not fighting that battle today. You know, and we have invited, I know he was a little apprehensive that, you know, I wonder if I'm going to bring Buddy on WZYE 95.9 FM because, you know, no, that's not what you know what I mean? And every time he has asked for somebody to come, we have said no problem.
Yeah. And people and persons seem not to be able to forgive him for the cockroach statement. But I draw upon it. I said, look at the woman he has married to. They have to learn to decipher and different, you know, a statement. He is married to an African woman. Y'all have to understand when people use language. I do not agree with the statement, but I don't think Gary has used that statement and throwing all of us under the bus. You know? That's just my opinion.
I want to say though that I don't think he meant the cockroach statement from a racial perspective. He meant it from from a nemesis perspective, the perspective of a pest. From
But
a
Dr.
pest.
Mohammed, I hear you, but I think that was the wrong word.
He could have, you know what he could have done? He could
Yeah.
have gone to explain what he meant by that.
Yeah.
Right?
Just,
And
it
he
just
might have
came
been
out
able
like
to
if it just came out like
clear
if
it
it
up a
was,
little bit.
I took
Yeah.
offense to it as well. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
because you know, because at the end of the day, you look at what is the color of a cockroach, right?
Yeah. And what is cockroaches? And I think that, I mean, what we would like to do, what we like Gary to do, is just learn from your mistakes and be better. That's all.
And I think he could be, but I think he also you see, Dr. Rowley is not a forgiving man. Let me tell you something. Dr. Rowley is not. He's not a forgiving man. That's a side of him that I realized that, you know, I had hope that Dr. Rowley would have been, his words would have matched his actions when he said, when he became prime minister in 2015, when he said in his victory speech that all of Trinidad and Tobago was welcomed and everyone could feed at the table. And I said, okay, here's a prime minister that we kind of give a chance to, because he's never been prime minister, and we've seen what the we've seen what he's been like from a ministerial perspective, and being a minister in a cabinet is different from being the leader of a cabinet, and therefore let's see what he can do. No, I like Dr. Rowley from the perspective of what you see is what you get. There's no pretentiousness in there. There's no orchestration. There's no choreography. There's no makeup. There's no nothing. He like white rice. What you see is what you're going to get. I love that. I also love the fact that he's not afraid to say what he thinks as a politician. And he is sometimes very, very measured until he gets also very emotional and he can fly off his rockers. And we've seen that as well. On the flip side, 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫𝗪𝗔, we need to ask the real 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫𝗪𝗔 to please stand up, because she is a strong believer in choreography, in theatrics, in aesthetics, and all of that. And I have a problem with that, because for me, that is all in an attempt to maintain herself as a populist, and give the impression that she's also a progressive leader or a transformational leader. The only thing about 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫𝗪𝗔 that's transformational is her ability to change her clothes. And I make no apologies about that.
Dr. Mohammed, with that in mind, since you bring up that word, right? I have coined 𝗪cie Chavez Augustine and Watson
as a transformational leader.
Yes, and I can tell you why. And secondly, I've coined Dr. Rowley as a transactional leader, not a transformational leader.
He is. That's very true. He is a transactional leader.
You agreeing with me, buddy? You agreeing with me?
No, he is. I wrote that.
Oh, you did?
I did. I wrote that in my thesis.
Wow, I didn't know that. So for all those who are listening and want to call me all kind of names, because they call me all kind of names, you know, because I said Dr. Rowley is not a transformational leader. And I even put it here, what a week ago, right? We had it here and we said, you could see the difference between transformational and transactional. And Dr. Rowley falls under a transactional leader. It's just, that's what it is.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And you know, it's Dr. Mohammed.
It doesn't take a break. Listen, it doesn't take a political expert to see that, you know. It takes somebody who has understanding of the literature.
Yeah. It was easy. Now, when we go back to 𝗪cie and some of the things 𝗪cie have done in a short space in Tobago, some of the things that he have done, and some of the things that Trinidad and Tobago decide not to do, right? You could see it. Now, when I coined Duke transformational, is I was looking at it from 0 to 2 to 6 to 14.
That wasn't Duke.
Well, as the political leader.
That's not Duke either.
But yeah, but he's the political leader though.
He was not at the front of he didn't lead the campaign.
But Dr. Mohammed, I hear you. But we still know that. So if like how Dr. Rowley is the political leader of the PNM, and by the way, I have to tell you, my belief is that the political leader of the PNM and the political leader of the UNC should both go.
Of course.
You agree with me again?
But yes, because that is the truth.
But yeah, but you two agreeable tonight, but I don't know, but
but why? Listen to me. but
you speak truth to power. Then you speak. I know you speak truth to power, but I speak truth to power too. That's what I do.
But it's true. You know what's the problem? Let me tell you what's the problem. I can map for you who are the potential next leaders of the People's National Movement. I have 3 successors, one after the next.
Let's hear.
Any one of them, right? Penny Beckles, Amory Brown, Brian Manning. And they could either go in that order, or any one of them could survive. Anyone.
But they can't compete. They can't compete against Dr. Rowley in the upcoming internal election, though.
No, they can't. And we are yet to see whether Dr. Rowley is going to be running.
Oh, he's running. All
right.
He's running.
Now, if he's running, we're going to have to wait to see who's taking up which positions, right? But I can't tell you from the lineup of the 19 in the UNC who are going to be the next leaders of the UNC. And when I mean leaders of the UNC, to take them to victory. I can tell you who could be the next leader, but that don't mean they're going to win.
But Dr. Mohammed.
Wait, 1 minute, Diana. Who is that?
Rudal.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Diana.
Dr. Mohammed, I regularly I hear you guys say they can't challenge for the political leadership of the party. Doesn't that do the country an injustice, not to have,
They, okay, not that they can't. You're right. We should rephrase it. They can. But because they are in government, they won't. Because they won't want to cause there to be a fallout in the election as a result of the election. Because what is going to happen is that anybody who wishes to challenge Dr. Rowley's leadership is going to have to automatically
take a UN position. Take an ambassador or a UN position.
They're gonna have to sit down in the back bench because.
But I want to tell you, take a UN position.
The cabinet.
Yeah,
right.
Take a UN position or take an ambassador somewhere, you know.
Right. Yeah. Go to Brazil or go to the
you go to Brazil.
Right?
But why should that be? Why should that? I mean, I'm not being naive, but I understand. But why should that be? Because it is not. It is not. Dr. Rowley is not going to be there. He's not Methuselah. The country needs to have a leader. You need to have leadership to take it into whenever. And if you have these, like you say, these qualified individuals, why can't they be given a chance to, go forth and be, under his tutelage, carry the part, let the thing go forward?
Dana, who competed against 𝗪𝗪𝗶𝗫 that's in her opposition party inside the cabinet? Who competed against her in the recent election?
But then we in the United Socialist Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Go ahead, Dr. Mohammed.
Yeah. No, but I'll tell you this. I dare anybody in the UNC to tell me that Fuad can't win that election.
No, they ain't doing it.
They what?
They're not doing it.
They're not doing it. Of course, they're not doing it.
They're not doing it.
I challenge anybody in the UNC today to tell me that Fuad did not win that election. Right? And that is a transformational leader.
You know what? I like Dr. Khan, be honest with you.
What you see is what you get, pal.
Yeah, I like Dr. Khan. I like Dr. Khan.
He talks, listen, he talks his mind, but let me tell you something. He can be managed, he can be diplomatic, he can be undiplomatic, but you see his mind in terms of transformational, that man has a vision of transformation that let me tell you something. If he's given the opportunity to be prime minister,
you see, that's what we need in our leaders, man. We need in our leaders because I'm saying, listen, that is Dr. Mohammed.
Let me tell you something. He's also a mentor. He believes in political mentorship.
In the past 7 years, right, I have asked this question. Give me one innovative thing that have come out of this Dr. Rory-led government. One innovative idea. One. Just one.
Oh, they have many. Listen, they have many innovative ideas.
Like
wonderful
what?
Ideas.
For example, innovative that's been put in place.
Wonderful. That's we talking.
That's the question. That's been put in place.
That's the question. That's the question. Zero.
I mean, the best somebody could tell me was Foster Cummins with his agriculture thing in 𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗃. I said that's the lowest you could go by. That's as low as you can go for innovative idea. I mean,
listen, allocating, giving land to 𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗃 in the Cove Industrial Estate to grow strawberries.
Yeah. Boy, you know. So Dr. Mohammed, we are a place. We thought we were at a place in Tobago where we would see things happen and be transformational going forward. And Duke has put a kink in that armor. A chink. But until.
Not even a dent.
You don't
not
think
even a crack.
All right.
To say that would to give him political relevance. To say that would be to give him credence in a most minuscule way. And I am saying, once again, Watson Duke has proven why he is not sitting as a member of parliament. And I said it to him into his face in a conversation when I was on a panel. And I said to him, Watson, with all due respect, it's your mouth that caused you to lose the election. And he is listen, because you want to beat your chest and say, I put you there, and I make you that, and I make you that. The man brought his own flair. He brought his own characteristics, his own traits, his own charisma. The gentleman does not need a piece of paper in front of him to speak, right? He was able to captivate the minds of across the board, right? He was able to get young people to follow him. That was what Farley Augustine was all about. He captures the minds of the young and the old, Trinidadians and Tobagonians. And on top of that, he is able to manage himself in a way where he is able to stay true to his faith. Everybody knows, do not interrupt the chief secretary from Friday evening into Saturday evening because he's observing the Sabbath. And do not call the chief secretary on a Sunday morning because he's visiting a church in Tobago or speaking or delivering a message or one of those things. And those things I find to be very honorable. You know, people say you mustn't mix religion and politics together.
That's honorable.
Right? I did. There's a course in UWI that I took guest lectured called Religion and World Politics, and while it is religion has a role to play in politics as a whole, it does not have a role to play in governance, which is different.
I agree.
And let me tell you something. What I admire about Farley is that he holds true to his faith, but he does not bring his faith in terms of his religious beliefs and
into the
tie it to his governance.
Yes.
No, right?
Correct is right.
No.
That's why the guy's a transformational leader.
Correct. He is a transformational leader.
Yeah, I mean,
we need somebody in Trinidad and Tobago from a prime ministerial level to get to that level.
Yeah. So Dr. Mohammed, what you have done tonight is that you have put a stamp on my designation of 𝗪𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗃 as a transformational leader, because people all over Trinidad and Tobago, as soon as I coined him a transformational leader, all of a sudden they started what they call Dr. Rowley a transformational leader.
But Dr. Rowley is not a transformational leader. He has transformed nothing.
Yeah, well, you know, he has transformed a lot of industries in Trinidad and Tobago from being something to nothing.
Very good point.
Oh no.
I take that point 100%. I take that point.
So, Dr. Mohammed, you know, it's always a pleasure when you come into the village, man. We have a nice, fantabulous, splendiferous discussion. And the only thing you held away from us tonight is that 13 people in the 𝗪𝗂𝗃. What is going to happen with those 13 people? You're keeping that close to your vest. You kept that from us, but we're not going to hold it against you. We're not going to hold it against you.
Let's chat in a couple of weeks, and then I'll be in a better position to give you what I'm holding close to my chest.
All right, good enough. Any closing words before you go?
I just want to say thank you very much for having me on. It's always a pleasure as well. I want to say thank you very much to your listeners. They've been very kind to me. I am accustomed getting a lot of blows, but I guess they have regard. Oh God, Ray, give me 2 minutes now. Ray throwing me off already. Ray, what's that? Where's the love?
Ray, we've been going at you all night, boy.
I don't know what's going on in the club not far from me. I hear the music still. Ray, where you feel? Down by me, the club making noise too. Ulrich said he started to like me until he heard I said my support for Gary. Ulrich, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, we have to take away, and I've learned this, you have to take away the personalities from the individual at some point in time and look at their specialization. And I didn't say this before. Same here, Ray. I will say this now. What I liked about Gary's leadership of the police service is that he was very, very, very good in terms of intelligence gathering, and he had a knack for the details. And the details that are sometimes very confidential in a national security apparatus framework. So that about it, I thought is what is missing currently. And Gary was reactive from a behavioral standpoint and point of view, but he was not reactive from a leadership perspective in terms of reacting. He was always trying to be a step ahead, and that is why I will talk about Gary in that light, right? But Ulrich, I also understand your perspective as well, and I understand the disappointment. It is true. I understand there's a lot of disappointment. You are not the first person. I mean, I've mentioned Gary's name in other quarters right here in Trinidad, and I have had people roll their eyes. So, you know, he has some work to do as well, and rebranding to do. And, you know, you all have said that you all have seen a little bit of the change. And, you know, we are all not perfect. We all make mistakes. What we are not is we are unforgiving people. Whether we are in the diaspora or we are in Trinidad and Tobago, we tend to be a very unforgiving people, and we don't give second chances. But sometimes you need to, right? It would give me pleasure today if we can give 𝗪𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗃 a second chance at leadership and prime ministership. Even at 89, he would be much better than Rowley and Kamna.
You sure?
That's my closing remark, y'all.
Hey, Dr. Mohammed, thank you so very kindly, man. That was a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, folks. I gotta tell you, we spent a lot day, boy. I mean,
Sunday at 89 leadership.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, boy. Ulrich, you and Ray still tonight, boy. But you see, that's what's good about. That's how we like it here, man. that when you come in, you could speak truth to power. And Dr. Mohammed was very, 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 very. He understand. He understand what you're saying. You understand? And he try to criticize you or not. He understands. And I think we can allow Gary Griffith to be a better person. That's what it is. We can allow him just as how Hailey, you and Judy, Philip start off nice and he changed Philip will fix it to Pep will fix it. And then 4 hours later he went back to Philip will fix it.
But Anselm,
yeah,
some things we have to remember that our current leader, when he was vying for power, he was one person. And when he did get power, he was another person.
Oh, you telling me? I know that firsthand.
Right. So the point I'm making is that Gary, we're getting Gary to change his
because he's running for office. Because he's running for office.
Correct.
Is it when he goes, if he wins, he goes back to normal?
Because some people can't help but be themselves, especially when they get relaxed.
Or when they get power.
Yeah, well, power, and then they no longer have the stress of seeking it. They now have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Tommy, I want to say to you and I want to give you guys a heads up. Next Saturday, I will be traveling from Florida. So I want to give you and Diana a heads up. Maybe you guys can invite someone from the chat to be a co-host. You know, you guys can do, you know, how you think it's best. And because I know I wouldn't be able to get back on Saturday. So you and Diana can decide somebody in the chat who thinks you want to try, you know, to co-host, you know, the show on Saturday. So we taking names.
Yes,
right? Yeah, Diana left. So we taking names. So Carice, Ray Stout, Rennie Mohammed, Judy, Hailey, Ulrich, Ken John. I think I saw Joan. Put closing comments in the chat.
What about Nadia?
Nadia too. I don't think I saw 𝗪𝗏. 𝗪𝗏 was here earlier. 𝗪𝗏, if you're still there, put closing comments in the chat. All right. Rennie, where's that? The swimsuit edition? Where's that, Rennie? Maybe on Saturday. Maybe Saturday. You could hear the swimsuit edition. Tommy, all can hear the swimsuit edition. Bring Rennie in. Maybe all can bring Rennie.
Rennie gotta put on his speedos and
you gotta put the leather outfit. Oh, look, Rose there. Rose. Thank you, Rose. Rose says she missed hearing my voice. Thank you, Rose. Hey, Ken, before you leave, put your closing comment now, man. Before you leave, Ken, put your closing comment in the chat.
And he said Diana in a two-piece.
Yeah, we go see that. Ready it easy. You can see Diana in a two-piece. Yeah. Who else we go see in a two-piece? I don't need Diana. You want to see that?
Lana, Rose, 𝗪𝗏, and Carice.
Yeah. You can see in a two-piece. So we can make, they can make it a swimsuit edition, two-piece night. Guys, stick and stay. We're gonna go for a quick break. We'll be right back after this short message. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Guys, Rennie, you know, Rennie need like 20 bacchanal. Bacchanal is bacchanal. Oh, God. Yeah. Plenty bacchanal. Rose says she only wear one piece. Alex say I have swimsuit on sale right up to plus sizes. Ulrich, you was in business last week, man. What happened? Wait, Tommy.
Oi.
Rose says she does only wear one piece.
All right, Rosie.
She don't wear two pieces, only one piece she wear.
As long as she looks good in it.
Yeah. We still want to know if I'm going to invite my friend Aisha Wells too. Yeah, we're going to invite Aisha. Oh, come on, man. You know, if I call Aisha, she coming. I said, my friend. You know what I mean? I can invite one of my UNC friends too.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah. That's what friends are for, of course. You know. So, folks, my closing comment is the most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep love. Beautiful people do not just happen. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall said, that's all I like to say, what I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent doesn't work hard, and for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. You know. Go ahead, Tommy.
My word today is from Suzu Kasim. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Always try to stay positive, my friends in the village. Let's make sure that we don't get into situations like what Duke is in right now, because that is not nice. Anyways, it's been a pleasure being here in the village tonight, and I look forward to our next session. Till then, everybody be safe and take good care of yourselves. Love you all. Good night.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Raystel says, everyone be safe. Safe. And you know how things just go. You know how things just go. Oh God. Rennie want to know what Nadia be wearing. Rennie, why you want to know what Nadia be wearing? Raystel says, I'd rather close my eye to this bloodshed than my comments. Night, people.
Judy says, good night, all beloved brothers and sisters in the village. Happy weekend to all.
Right. Curry says, everyone have different beliefs and opinions. If everyone taught the same things and have the same vision, we'll be in a boring world. Good night, everyone. Keep safe. Thank you, Curry. Full 100. Rennie wants to know if Rose would have one piece if she's a munchkin. Oh God. Takisha closing comments. Time for these two clowns. Time for these two grown folks to go home and give someone else a chance. And this country really needs. Lord, thank you, Ansem, Diana, Tommy, and Village. Thank you, Takisha. Yeah, Ulrich has some suit on sale. Rennie says we are all one people under the same sun. Peace and love to everyone. Yeah, we're going out tonight with McGruff, boy. I played this one earlier. I like this one, McGruff. They're sitting in Parliament. All right, folks, good night.
Right about now, ladies and gentlemen, we like to move on with Calypso Spectacular. And the next performer coming up on stage, this man last year had a song about who thinking they dirty and they hole in the dirty. 1995, the amount of bills they passing in Parliament, he said they only sitting. Look, if you have tight tongue, be careful what you say. The name of the song, Sitting in Parliament. The singer, McGruff. Bring him on. Where are you?
For too damn long, my people toilet. nothing. Brother, as they win election, that's it. They gone in the house to sit. So brother man, I'm getting harassed. I try to put them back and sit in jokers. Why we can't get no betterment? Man, it's too much of sitting in parliament. Why you think the country hard like Banga? They're sitting in parliament. You change government with the same pressure. They're sitting in parliament. So some say it's just you bring back massa. They're sitting in parliament. Because you put African, same shit. You put Indian, same shit. You put Syrian, same shit. They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. They're sitting in parliament. Talking rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. They're sitting in parliament. Mr. President, we ain't got to do nothing by accident. No! There's too much of sitting in parliament. To get material for this calypso, I went parliament to get my info. For I had to get good information about all who's sitting for the station. They tell me Humphrey's the man for the poor, Sobion and Hawkins seeing about law. Robbie and Pam them for Tobago. Rowley seeing about farmers cocoa. Ramesh for rapists and murderers. Pam them down in Central for great fathers. Big man like Patrick with PhD. What they doing? Sitting in parliament. And he happen they sitting opposite he. What they doing? Sitting in parliament. Between them they making poor people pay. Sitting in parliament. And one is African, same shit. And one is Indian, same shit. You must understand, same shit. They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. They're sitting in parliament. Talking rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. They're sitting in parliament. Mr. President, this country is backed up by accident. No! There's too much of sitting in parliament. Alright, what a whole team. It's a what a whole team. Get it? Ramesh and Tanga, they're digging blues. But they can't put their damn foot in Woolsey shoes. Woolsey is a real woman of substance. So she have all of them sitting in the pants. I have to ask Sunday when he boulders gone, why Woolsey had to take the bull by the horn. Remember when Woolsey tattled water? The next day the whole country had water. Before that, she man could meet for girl. No water to watch the sunfish at all. Again.